Hello, everybody. Everybody that just joined, very happy to see you guys. I'm glad that, people are here. I'm glad you guys are enjoying. So let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do here. So we just recruited Gurgle a little while ago. I do apologize if you guys can hear any creaking above me as well. My floors are super creaky. I'm glad that I was able to get my graphical settings too. Aside from the frame rate, I'm glad I was able to re-enable my ENB and make it not look like crap. Because it did. It looked like crap last night. I was very embarrassed. I halfway considered actually restarting the series and doing it over again because I don't like having lower quality stuff on here, but my wife convinced me not to. She told me that I need to give myself some leeway for my first stream, so I'm following her advice. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this moving. So we need to get him some food for sure. We have almost no cats. Good old Gurgle the backpack. And Vash, who's on here. And no, this is just an outpost. This is not my base. This is just a random outpost. Specifically, this is the outpost to the south of Squin, the way station just above the exile camp here. I'm here because I was kiting these Band of Bones over here to essentially I'm trying to cheese out some money from them by stealing their gear, and so that's what I was doing, but these two got their ass kicked, so I'm going to send them up there to rent a bed. Alright, so we're gonna rent them out. And I'm gonna have what do you guys have on you? The irony is that it's literally been about a day since I've played this save, and I already forgot what I had in my inventories and everything. Alright, do you have any food that I can give to him? Yeah, just a bit. Spend the last bit of money that I have on food for him. Alright, and then he's got decent stats, so we're going to send him down here. I do apologize if there is a delay in chat as well. I'll try to, I'm getting my chat settings all figured out and stuff still, so if there's a small delay between when you say something and when I'm able to respond, I do apologize. It takes a minute to pop up on the screen. So, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I hope everybody's having a good time. Hope work was good if anybody worked today. I hope anybody that had today off is doing well. I myself don't work the weekends, thankfully. Downside is I go back tomorrow. Excuse me. Alright, so this is actually really fortuitous of us, because what we can do is while they are fighting them, we can kind of sneak up here and we can steal stuff off of these triangle bandits that we can use to sell to get some cashola. Laundry's good. Listen, laundry's good. I probably should have done more laundry today, but I didn't. Instead, I convinced my wife to watch the last Lord of the Rings movie with me. Got caught stealing. A lot of these Band of Bones don't have weapons right now. So my going idea with this playthrough is, to kind of reiterate and rehash what I had brought up last time. So this is a retelling of my original Kenshi Let's Play series. So back when I first started the channel, I had done a series called Kenshi Rise of the Dwarves, and I did it on Project Genesis. And unfortunately, Genesis kept updating, and well, not unfortunately, but unfortunately for me, Genesis kept updating, and because it kept updating, eventually it corrupted my save, because I kept shifting mods in and out so much, and with the shifting of those mods, and my corrupted save, I wasn't able to continue, so I got about 6 episodes into the series and had to stop, which was really unfortunate, because it was a really good series and I enjoyed making it. So I wanted to kind of revisit that, kind of bring back the classic here. And so I'm doing a series where I'm recruiting Greenlanders, Scorchlanders. I'm going to turn them into these little, tiny dudes, these little dwarves. And I'm going to create a Dwarven Empire. And I'm going to kind of base it originally off of the dwarves from, say, the Dragon Age series, where they would sit in the deep roads and they'd fight the Darkspawn, right? And initially, I think I'm going to end up going to war with the Shek. Right now, I'm kind of utilizing them because I need a place to trade and stuff like that, but I'm going to go to war with the Shek. They're going to be my first enemies. Eventually, I'm going to go for global supremacy. The dwarves shall rule all, but right now, we're going with the Shek being our primary antagonist. I don't know if I'm going to side with anybody particular. I might side with the Holy Nation initially and then switch out and go after them in the end. Just, you know, kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend until the enemy is gone, and now you're my enemy too. But yeah, no, thick little dwarves, axes, hammers, all that good stuff. So, I guess I'll participate in the combat just a little bit. See if I can get some equipment for some of my other dudes. I don't need the headband. I wanted to keep the headband, but I'll pass on it. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Go back up. They're probably healed by now anyway. Nope, not even close. I'm really glad I was able to get that frame rate issue figured out. Oy vey. This is what my game typically looks like when I'm recording. It looks a little worse in the stream because I had to scale it down to 1080 instead of 2K, but I'm glad to hear that you've been watching them. Yeah, no, I'm actually gonna switch my build videos. Originally, I was doing them. I would record them and then I'd do a speed build. I'd speed them up and then I'd narrate over them. But I think I'm gonna end up switching to doing my builds live on stream so you guys can see the full process. We can talk about it while I'm doing it. Right now, I'm kind of focused on this, but I'm probably gonna start doing that later this week as well. Because I really want to start implementing more streams. I had a lot of fun doing it last night. It was really cool getting to chat with everybody. And so I'm going to start streaming more, and I think I'm going to transition my build videos to the streams. So everybody can kind of chat and watch with me live when I do them, and then, we'll go from there. But so if you enjoyed the build videos, stick around because there will be more. I did a bunch of them recently, and then I had to cut it down because I was having some issues with the area that I was trying to build in, and I got frustrated and then ended up getting sidetracked with other projects. But I will be returning to them very shortly, probably doing them live on stream. So if you enjoyed, then stick around for those. Come on, there we go. All right, so we're getting these boys outfitted. Gotta get some cats on me. Last night I literally made like no progress. It was super frustrating because I was just moving at a snail's pace. Yeah, so there will be laws, there will be traditions. I'm going to be establishing specific legionary forces. I'm going to break them down into various squads. And then I haven't done it quite yet, but I'm going to install a grave marker mod. So in the event that a dwarf passes, they will receive a grave. I'm going to have like a whole graveyard, a nice like ceremonial thing. And then the leaders of the dwarves will be entombed in something a little bit more fancy and stuff like that. So there's a couple good gravesite mods that I want to utilize as well. But no, there will be laws, there will be traditions, things will be good. Right now they're just a ragtag group, so there's no particular order or meritocracy going on or anything of the sort. It's just a group of dwarves, but eventually a kingdom will rise and it will be beautiful. It will be beautiful. So I'm just speeding up, waiting for these guys to heal. And I'm using Lord Hapless's Ironsides mod. So because of that, I will be able to use them as effectively the my Kenshi equivalent to the golems that the dwarves in Dragon Age that I'm basing this kingdom off of. I'll be using one or two of the Ironsides as my golems. So very excited about that. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we're going to take you guys, now that we've got some equipment. And actually, you know what? Did I give him a frame axe? Alright, so we got a frame axe, heavy weapon. I'm going to give her my frame axe. Take that off. There we go. Alright. And now that we can actually do stuff, we're going to head back up this way towards Holy Nation cities. Ah, itches. And we're off to the races, everybody. This was pretty much what the majority of the stream was last night, was me traveling, but it was just so slow because the frame rate was absolute garbage because of the way the stream was functioning. Like right now, I have an occasional stutter because I'm loading, but smooth as butter in comparison. And I'm able to have my graphical settings exactly, where I usually have them instead of having to turn it down and have my game look like poo. All right. We're going to head over to Squin now. They probably won't do hashish. Yeah, they'll probably avoid the hashish. Well, I don't know, maybe they might do. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm kind of basing them very loosely on the Dragon Age ones. They might do hashish, and I might end up selling some of it, but I haven't quite decided yet. Not sure. They'll definitely probably grow hemp just for the sake of, like, obviously for what is it? Building using fabric and stuff. Because my end game in terms of armor that I'm looking to do is I downloaded the in my mod group here, my mod collection. I have the Oblivion Imperial Armors mod, which was the same armor that I used in my last run for Kenshi Rise of the Dwarves. And I never got to see it fully to fruition. So eventually, I'm going to outfit them all in Imperial Legion armor from Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Which I think is just tops. Give them all fucking decked out fragment axes and then outfit them in Imperial Legion armor. It's going to look fire. It's going to look absolutely fire. Speed this up a little bit. They're moving a bit slow for me. Alright, so eventually I will recruit Kenshi here. As one of my golems, but initially there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. So I am instead going to head back to the hub, because if I recall, there is 2 busted golems there, and I can recruit them as kind of temporary metal, and then as they get built up better and get better equipment, I should be able to outfit them with better shell to make them more functioning. Because early on, when you recruit the busted ones, they're garbage. They're not good. So, I apologize too if you guys hear any fireworks outside. There's, my neighbors are, they like to, they'll start shooting them off today, and then they'll run straight through till Friday. So a lot of fireworks. But if there's any booms in the background, that's what that is. Alright, so thank you, I appreciate that. First episode made me a little nervous just because I was having some issue with the like I was saying, I have an issue with the bit rate and the frame rate. I like things to look a certain way, and it wasn't looking the way I wanted it to look, but I got it fixed, so we're good to go now, and we're gonna have a nice pretty playthrough. And just to kind of reiterate the rules of this playthrough, there is no save scumming. If someone dies, that's it, they're dead, and that's part of the canon lore now. So I'm kind of running this to let it run its own story. Unfortunately, there's a chance we may lose dwarves along the way, and if that happens, they will be missed. Oof. And the fireworks have begun. I'm so sorry for the booms. Jesus. Patrolling. There's a specific sequence of dialogue that you have to do here, and I gotta remember what it is. You are not one of the enemies, are you? A drifter? Of course not. It's good. Enemies 2 roamer. Outstanding. Okay. Alright, golem. Alright, so we're going to take 1 for now. Just enough to give us a bit more of an edge in combat and let us head back down there. And then, you know what we're going to do? We're going to head... can I get a... I'm going to need a robotics repair kit. Alright, do I have a temporary one of the shiny ones up here? So I'm gonna really try to stick to Scorchlanders and Greenlanders just for the sake of symmetry in the dwarves. You know, the idea of having a dwarven Shek or a dwarven Hiver, it could be entertaining, but at that point I'm just recruiting pygmies, not dwarves, I feel like. So it kind of breaks the theme a bit, you know. Whereas with the Scorchlanders and the Greenlanders, at least it maintains it thematically. No. No. Alright, I'm gonna have to head over to, back to Squint to grab that. I cannot do anything with... I'm pretty sure the golems, because of the way that they are, they're flagging the system as a beast, as an animal, so I don't think they... Oh, shit. Those are dust bandits. I'm gonna actually, you know, I'm gonna try and kite them. I think... Are they just gonna leave me alone? I don't think... I can't take them all, that's for sure. I'm not strong enough for sure. We can give it a go, though. I think we should be able to at least... We can give it a go. We'll be a little on the wild side with this one. A little on the wild side. Although I can't fix him if something happens to him. Alright, let's see what happens. Oof, I'm gonna have to trade his weapon out here again. At least until he gets more strength. Yeah, Gurg is down. Good old Gurgle the backpack. He's down real quick. Yeah, he's moving so slow. How are you doing? He's hitting him, but he's taking more hits than he's dealing. If I can drop that Hiver, I'll take his weapon. Come on, just drop the Hiver. Those two are in bad shape. There we go. Alright, we're going to switch his weapon out real fast. I'll pick that back up when I'm done. More fireworks just going off in the background again. So sorry about that. 'Tis the season, you know? You for that. In terms of Kenshi 2, you know, story, gameplay, all that stuff, I really hope I can revive them before anything happens. He is, I mean, he's getting his ass handed to him, but the Golem here is doing pretty good. Not bad, not bad. I didn't expect them to do that well. I really thought they were going to do far worse. What do you mean they're butchering him for meat? Oh, he's flagged as an animal. That sucks. Okay, so I may have to go recruit another Golem, because apparently they're butchering my Golem for meat. Oh, never mind. The one that was doing it passed out. In terms of story and stuff for Kenshi 2 and lore and all that stuff, I'm excited to see the Second Empire less fragmented. I feel like we're going to get a faction of Second Empire loyalists for sure. You know, we're going to get individuals that are still trying to maintain this idea that the Second Empire is the head honcho, you know, they're the ones that are controlling the shots, and they're not anymore. You know, they fell. So I think we're going to get groups of Second Empire loyalists for sure. I'm excited to see that, you know, some of that. I should have. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna pick him up and run. If I save anybody, I want it to be him right now. So I'll come back for the others. Yeah, I want to see some Second Empire loyalists. I want to get some more information on the First Empire, because frankly I don't have enough. You know, I've made a couple of lore videos on the First Empire and like my thoughts on them and what maybe happened to them, but I would really like to explore them far more. But you know, that's mostly it. I'm kind of just letting it happen. You know, whatever they release is what they release. I know that we are going to find out about the origin of the Hivers for certain, and I'm really eager to do that just because I want to know if I was right. I want to know if my theory about the Bugmaster, about them being, you know, a genetic offspring to help combat the famine that occurred at the end of the Second Empire, because it makes the most sense, right? Like the way that the Second Empire created the Shek, they created the Enforcers, right? So we know that they can genetically modify humans. They can do some kind of gene therapy to alter them to fit their needs. They made them more aggressive. They made them into basically soldiers. They made them into the ideal soldiers. They created these psyops units essentially to infiltrate the cult of Stobe, and they eventually, because of those edits to their genes, they would go on to evolve and become what we know now as the Shek. Later on, they'd grow that exoskeleton because they were engineered to be tougher, stronger, faster, smarter. Well, smarter is not quite correct, but you know what I mean. The point is that they were engineered to be better. And so if you apply that same logic that they are willing to do gene augmentation to fix their problems, and you apply that same logic to the mass famine and the mass rebellions that occurred at the end of the Second Empire, well, not mass rebellions, it wasn't really a rebellion, but like the Okranite Exodus, and just the general disloyalty as Catalan's soldiers started to doubt him, it would make sense that he would also attempt to do something similar to what he had frankly already done, which was edit the genes of his people even further to make them resistant to famine, which makes sense because, I mean, if you look at the Hivers, they require less food. Their hunger rate goes down slower than any other race. They also are incredibly obedient. They follow a pheromone. Like, you make one queen, and that queen tells everyone what to do. So you don't have to control the Hivers. You control the queen, and then you control the Hivers. And so, everything just kind of lines up. And I am eager to see if that same logic that I used to create the theory is both correct and applies to that situation. So, in short, I'm excited about the possibility of getting more information on the Hivers, and I want to know if my theory on the Hivers is correct, because thematically, to me, it makes the most sense, especially when you consider that every race on Kenshi is man-made. Even if you take the Hivers out, every one of them has some kind of origins revolving around humanity. And so it's weird to me that they would create a race. They'd have the Shek that were created by the skeletons, which the skeletons were created by the humans. Okay, so the humans made the skeletons made the Shek. So inadvertently, through transitive property, the Shek were created by skeletons who were made by humans, and they were created using humans, right? Shek used to be human, now they're Shek. Skeletons were made by humans. Humans are obviously human. And then you throw in a random race like the Hivers, and you don't give them a human origin of some kind. It does make sense thematically to me. Especially because not only like does it not make sense thematically, but hold on, I lost my train of thought. I had a whole thing planned out, I promise. Not only does it not make sense thematically, but like the Hivers, I don't know, they just don't, I don't know, they don't fit into me as being natives. It makes more sense to me that they have some kind of human origin. Even the current humans are not technically original humans. The original humans are likely the spacefaring civilization that created the first empire. And then the Greenlanders and the Scorchlanders are genetic offshoots that evolve differently depending on their terrain in the areas they're in. That's why you see more Scorchlanders in places like the desert where it's hotter and stuff like that. They were more evolved to deal with the sun. Greenlanders tend to evolve. They're more closer to the original genetic humans. So, it kind of varies, but I just don't think that the Hivers are the only exception to that initial human origin that you see in all of the other races. I don't think it makes sense to think that. I really need to figure out a solution for him. I need another. Did I use that entire temp? Jeez, I did. How much are they? 16. I don't have the money to afford that. Even if I sell my sword, I can't afford that. That sucks. Okay. What if I sell my hat? So I would agree. I don't think they necessarily went to the planet in the sky. I think they may have come from the planet in the sky, but I don't think they went. And my reason for thinking that is that look at how the Empire fell. The skeletons that were supposed to be their subservient workforce, that they, mind you, they deliberately designed them to be flawed. Yes, Kenshi is a moon. It's a title-locked moon. They deliberately designed them to be flawed, to make sure that they could never rule over them. That's like one of the reasons that the CPU bloat that I talk about in a lot of my videos exists. They deliberately designed them to be flawed, and unable to rule. And so they built in all of these flaws. So imagine you have this giant subservient workforce that is supposed to be your soldiers. They're supposed to be your primary labor force. And you're this big spacefaring civilization that is capable of interstellar travel and governance of multiple planets. And your workforce has rebelled against you. They tried to commit genocide. You're not going to leave the planet and be like, well, moon's theirs now. You know? Yeah, moon's theirs. We'll just leave it to them now. They would come back in full force. Where is the return order, right? And so the only thing that makes sense, like when you look at it that way, that like if the skeletons freaked out and rebelled, why they haven't sent reinforcements to come kind of reclaim the situation is either the denizens of Kenshi, like the First Empire, were entirely wiped out. And they were the only remains of their race, or they came from super, super far away, and the world operates on a realistic form of space travel where they don't have warp gates. They can't get from planet to planet super duper quick. And it takes, hundreds of thousands of years to get here, and this colony was simply abandoned for whatever reason, or they sent out the people to colonize and mine this planet, and they just never heard anything back. I would say the planet could be a staging ground for another attack, but it's been over 1,000 years. I mean, what are they waiting for? And especially if it's so close, it's not like they can't keep tabs on the moon. Everything's gone to shit down here. They may have had the technology to destroy the Empire initially and fight back initially. Now, there's no way. There's no way. They've regressed significantly in terms of technology and their ability to fight back. I don't foresee them having I don't foresee them, still being around in any capacity. And if they are, they're super far away, and this colony was simply abandoned for one reason or another. I mean, maybe it could be, but like, I don't know. It just seems weird to me that they would abandon the moon. And I could be wrong. I'm sure we'll find out more in Kenshi too. That's kind of the big thing, is that we're gonna find out more. I really need to get down here and help him. That's kind of the big thing, is that we're gonna find out more. And I hope we find more information on the First Empire. Granted, a lot of the First Empire ruins that we would, a lot of the First Empire ruins that we find in the first in Kenshi 1 are not going to be ruins that we can explore in Kenshi 2, because most of them are underwater. If you look at like the terrain, the natural terrain, the comments that were made about how the swamp was entirely submerged, you look at the natural topography and you fill in the gaps, which I think I showed a map on that in my short on the grid, and I also showed it pretty long on the screen in my video about the cannibals. The map is pretty much mostly submerged underwater, and that's the defining factor. Like the topography lends to the idea that the map during the age of the First Empire was really similar to what it is now, and then the water levels rose, likely as a result of the nuclear conflict, or the likely nuclear conflict. We know that it was nuclear, and I'll explain that in a minute. The result of the nuclear conflict and the melting of the area, the nuclear winter. Everything gets cold, the global temperatures get colder, ice starts to form, that ice eventually melts, the water temperatures rise, the Second Empire gets founded, and then over the course of the next couple thousand years between the fall of the Second Empire and now, those water levels decrease again, and they reveal a lot of those First Empire ruins. That's why First Empire ruins are usually found in areas that are low to the ground, by shorelines, places like the swamp, places like the grid. That sucks, my golem is dead. It's fine, I'll get another one. Places like the swamp, places like the grid. We find First Empire ruins in those areas, and a lot of those areas were partially or completely submerged underwater. The grid was partially submerged. The swamp was totally submerged. So we probably won't get much in terms of new ruins for the First Empire in Kenshi 2, but I want to believe that the skeletons will be a bit more forthcoming about the information about what happened in the First Empire. You know, it's I'm very excited. I hope they give us some good information. You know, more lore, more content for me to farm. All right, so we're getting some good stuff. I'm going to have Gurgle come through here. So there's not any snow on Kenshi anymore. The snow in the Ashlands is you're right. It's ash. It's not nuclear ash. It's ash from the nearby adjacent volcanoes in Sonora's Dark. And those volcanoes during the First Empire were likely used as a source of thermal thermal energy or anything of the sort. But after the fall of the First Empire, they used a number of nuclear devices. And I know that they were nuclear because there was nuclear devices still present in the Second Empire, or at least nuclear technology of some kind, right? So, and I'll explain the evidence of that in just a minute. But, when Stobe died, he was stopping a nuclear missile, some kind of nuclear missile. And that missile is actually still present by his body. So we know they had nuclear missiles. We know they had nuclear material. They also had the ice satellites that were originally meant for terraforming, and they were just going ham with them. And 10-1 after the Age of Chaos, the reason why the Age of Chaos after the First Empire fell was so chaotic is it was essentially nuclear winter. Everything was a disaster. Things were falling apart. Things were cold. People were dying en masse. It was literally nuclear winter. And that winter would cause... No, I don't think Stobe will be actively around. In Kenshi 2, Stobe will have been dead for hundreds, if not thousands of years at that point. We'll probably see him less degenerated and like more put together because he's kind of rusted and messed up by the time Kenshi 1 comes around. So we might see him with more of that outer shell that I've talked about before, but we probably won't see him up and moving. We will not see him up and moving around. No way. But we will probably see him, more put together, but dead still. So anyway, yeah, they tried to launch a nuclear missile, and it caused nuclear winter. The temperatures in the atmosphere get colder. Everything freezes. And glaciers start to form. Age of Chaos, people are dying en masse. It's unrecorded history. No empires form because no one can band together. Everyone's freezing to death. Everyone's dying. They're dying from radiation poisoning. They're dying from freezing. And then, the ice starts to melt, and when it melts, it raises the water level significantly as the temperatures start to return back to normal as the winter's wearing off, right? And that's when you get to the Second Empire. And so the water levels are higher, and a lot of things are underwater. And then over the course of the time at the end of the Second Empire to now, the temperatures remained at their pre-nuclear winter stages, and the water slowly evaporated, and the water kind of simmers back down to where it is. So the way Kenshi looks now is very close to how it probably looked during the First Empire, and the Second Empire was totally different. The giant starfish, I know what you're talking about. It's a giant, like, mechanized, like, it almost looks like Doc Ock's tentacles from the from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies that where they have like the segmented arms and stuff. It's freaking massive, and it's sitting in the middle of the desert. I know nothing about it. I have tried to put it together. I've looked at it a couple of times. I briefly thought maybe it was an old like satellite or an eye satellite. It is not. I haven't quite figured out what it is, and I don't have anything on it. It's First Empire technology. It's not organic, I can tell you that much. It was probably something that was used during the First Empire to fight the kaiju along with the behemoths. But other than that, I couldn't even begin to fathom what it was. I have no idea. Awesome. All right, we're going to try this again. Golem. I'll name one something other than Golem when they do something useful. But right now, he's, the last one died. So he's not getting my seal of approval. Not this guy. No, sir. He'll get my seal when he, survives. I mean, I've talked to them a couple of times. I haven't. You know, they're really apprehensive about revealing details. You know, I've talked to a couple of the members of the Lo-Fi team a few times. Were they in a war against Kaiju? What were they? Yeah, they were in a war against Kaiju. I'll touch back on that in a minute. So you know, but back to what I was saying. You know, I've talked to them a couple of times. They're really apprehensive about revealing too many details, which you know they should be. Aptly so, they should be. They want to keep things on lock and key. And the other thing is, it's difficult for them to reveal details about the lore and stuff because Kenshi 2 lore is constantly changing. One of the things that is admittedly kind of frustrating, but it's also it's okay. You know what? Time to prove your worth, Golem. Hold them off. Save me. Defend me. They are willing and likely to retcon some of the lore. They, you know, Chris Hunt did an AMA a couple of years ago on Reddit, and he was like, Kenshi lore is really fluid. Nothing is written in stone, and there are some things that we're going to change, and Kenshi 2's lore is constantly changing during development. Those were I think the exact words he uses. And so, as somebody like me who is, you know, a lore YouTuber, primarily a Kenshi lore YouTuber, you know, I do other stuff, but as I primarily do Kenshi lore, I kind of have to be ready for the likely probability that some of my videos are going to be made outdated by the introduction of new information that they're going to change. And the other thing, and I don't think I've ever verbally said this out loud before on the channel, but I've always been curious if it's going to be a similar situation to, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the FNAF situation with MatPat, where at a certain point he wasn't discovering the lore, he was theorizing what the lore was, and the dude who makes FNAF was like, okay, that's the lore. He's writing it now, right? And so eventually the theory became reality. So, like, I've wondered a couple of times if some of my theories have altered the course of Kenshi 2's lore development. Just because, you know, my lore content is in large the only lore content that's out there. There is other ones, but a lot of them are like one-offs, or they haven't gotten quite as much exposure, not because they're not as good, but obviously, you know, there's some really, really good ones out there, but I just find that mine's typically the ones that most people go to. So I do wonder if the lore has been altered by my content at all, because I know they watch. You know, I've talked to Lo-Fi a couple times. They comment on my videos every so often, and I do wonder if things have changed as a result of my videos. But we will see. You know, it could go either way. We're gonna get you over here. You need healing. As for the Kaiju, yeah, there's these giant, huge skeletons that are present, especially in areas like the boneyards. There are these massive rib cages, like several stories tall, that are present in these areas like the boneyard and stuff like that, that indicate the likely that there was likely these large beings on the planet. And we know that the First Empire fought some kind of a war, and, you know, a spacefaring civilization that is as technologically advanced as they were, it would have to be one mighty of a foe to stand any kind of chance of defeating them. And so the typically accepted explanation, and I haven't heard anybody really have any other idea, is that the skeletons, the giant, huge, like, rib cages and bones that you find in places like the boneyards, were the foe that they fought in the war. And I see no reason to think otherwise. I would be flattered if they included a hero and his head character in Kenshi 2. I'd be absolutely flattered. But, you know, we'll see. I think that'd be fun, though. I would want him to be a historian, probably. Just a guy who he's going around looking for answers, man. That's all he is. He's a bald guy with a beard who goes around looking for answers. You know? That would be cool. All right, well, good old gurgle here, heal up. And then I think we're going to start heading... Yeah, we need food, so I'm going to start heading down. I'm going to head into Holy Nation territory. Wait, no, I have a skeleton with me. We're going to pass on that for right now. We're going to head back down here to the way station. We're just going to do the usual rounds back and forth. Actually, hold on. I keep changing my plan, but I have a better idea. We are not going to go that way. I'm going to do the standard Kenshi motif, and I'm going to go mine for iron. I mean, copper. Get a little cash on me. It's a caravan. We'll have you two mine. His frame can't hold anything. Yeah, so the mechs are going to be basically my equivalent of the golems that you would see in Dragon Age Origins. You know, the dwarves used golems, and I'm going to use them as my golems. I love it. The mod is Old Ironside. It was made by my friend Hapless. Good guy, great guy, super talented modder. He made one of, if I think, the first actual companion. When I say like actual companion, I mean like quest-lined companion, unique dialogue that like had. I mean, he's a full-on companion mod, and yeah, I mean, Hapless he's a super talented modder, really great guy. Every conversation I've ever had with him is super good. Really great guy. He actually, when I was making the original, Dwarves video, that's how I got in contact with him. Is I wanted, he posted on Reddit like a GIF of his work so far putting together the Ironsides mod, and he I reached out to him and I was like, hey, this would be like perfect for my Let's Play that I'm doing right now, because I'm making a Dwarven Empire, and so like I would like to use them as my golems, and he was kind enough to make me a custom version of the mod to use in the playthrough, that had a couple of extra features and increased the size of some of the golems and stuff like that. Like he was super nice guy. He didn't have to do that, but he did. Super nice guy, and if you definitely would endorse all of his work. I brought it up a little bit last night on my stream last night when I started this, but all of the mods that you guys see in this playthrough, I'm going to be putting together in a little collection that I will be posting on Steam. And it's not anything labor intensive. Don't expect like an entire game overhaul, but I would consider it something like New Game Plus, like Kenshi Plus. A lot of quality of life mods, add some new furniture, add some a lot of new weapons, a lot of new armors, things that kind of fit in thematically. It's a lot less intensive than things like Ultimate World Overhaul or Blood and Sand or Genesis, because those those 2-3 projects have gotten really large, but I myself have found that they kind of have turned the game a bit more cartoony than they originally did. I used to be a huge Genesis fan, and I still think they do great work, but a lot of the add-ons to the other mods they've been putting in recently in the last like 2 years, year or two, I felt have kind of detracted from Kenshi. They've made it kind of more cartoony, which is fine for some people, but not for me. So I'll be releasing this, all of my mods here. You guys can enjoy and play with. The only thing that won't be in here is obviously my reshader, which I have a tutorial on my channel on how to do. It's Suki Reshade version 2. I don't use version 3 because I'm not really a fan of it. I've heard it gotten better, but when it first came out, it was not good. So, but other than that, everything else will be in here. I have Reactive World. It's in here. Reactive World is actively a part of this this series. I don't think I've actually played Kenshi without Reactive World on in a very, very long time. Yeah, Reactive World is a staple in my Lord Order. Haven't not used it in a very, very long time. Oh my God, these wolves! He's down. How's damage did he take? Oof, not good, not good. Heal him up real fast. Oni's always ruined me, man. Every time I've ever played with the Oni mod, they get me good. They get me good. Alright, we're gonna grab the copper that's here. The last one in here. And we're gonna head back to town. Sell this off. I just gotta get a good foothold. Couple more recruits. Build my numbers up a little bit. And we should be golden. If I can get a good foothold, we'll be fine. I can tell you I've already gotten a hell of a lot more done this time than I did last stream. I can actually move. Now that my frame rate's, not my frame rate, but like my quality's figured out, my bit data and stuff, my bit rate, I mean. Yeah, man, skeleton raids, they're brutal. They're brutal. You gotta not let that happen. gotta pay attention to those things, my guy. I get it, man. Fighting the skeletons, I get it. They're, you know, in order of my favorite races, it goes Shek, skeletons, skeletons and Hivers tied at number 2, and then obviously the Greenlanders and the Scorchlanders and stuff. But I get it. They're not good people. You know, they're the opposite of good people. Actually, they're very much kind of bad people. So here's the thing. I won't dive too much into it, but the Holy Nation is bad, absolutely bad. But the big thing is that all the factions of Kenshi are bad. They're all evil, right? Like that's the big thing. They're all evil. They're just different types of evil, right? The Shek are equally as xenophobic as the Holy Nation. The only difference is that the current leader of the Shek won't let them act out on it, whereas the current leader of the Holy Nation lets them act out on it. But they're equally as xenophobic. They are isolationists for the most part until recently. They have a meritocratic culture. If you're bleeding out on the ground, they'll let you bleed out. If I was literally laying here right now on the ground, you'd bleed out, you'd die. That's it. They would not help you. Holy Nation, provided that you meet their religious doctrine, they'll stop and help you. You know, I would say in terms of the races, the Holy Nation presents the best chance for humanity to flourish and survive, but only for humans. Although there is a lot of people don't know this. There is a limit to their dislike of you. If the Holy Nation, if the Holy Nation and your faction have allied status, your skeleton characters can actually walk throughout the Holy Nation. Your Shek characters can walk throughout the Holy Nation, and they won't bother you. They will have negative dialogue towards you, and they won't let you shop there, but they won't attack you, which, you know, shows that ultimately they prioritize their allies over their religious fervor to a degree. They just want what's best for humanity. I'm not saying they're doing it the right way. They're definitely going about it the wrong way, and they're not doing they're not being moral by any means. What they do is abhorrent, but they just want what they think is best for humanity. And on Kenshi, you know, it's kind of the best you can do. The robot arm, they won't attack you after you hit like 90 relation with them anymore. Once you have 90 relation, you can have cybernetics, you can have skeletons in your party, they won't attack you. In fact, actually, if you take a skeleton character and you heal Holy Nation paladins that are on the ground, that squad or that paladin will get up and he won't attack you. He will stand up and he'll be like, "Thank you, Dark One," and then he'll leave and let you live, right? Which is, you know, it's not like a smoking gun, but it is kind of a telling observation about like the way that they function outside of their religion. It's interesting at the very least, that's for sure. There's definitely, you know, multiple angles that everything can be looked at, I guess. But again, the big theme about Kenshi is that none of the factions are good, right? Like there's no right answer to what faction is like a good faction or like a morally appropriate faction. They're all fucking terrible, man. They're all terrible. That's the point. That's the whole point. They're bad. They're all bad. It's not about morals. It's not even about the shiniest of 2/3 with them. It's just they're all bad. They're all bad. They're just different kinds of bad. And a lot of them are based on real life civilizations at points when they were bad, you know? So. Yeah, I mean, exactly. The humanity is not in the nations; it's in the individuals, you know. And so, not every Ochre Knight is bad, just like not every Shek is a battle-hardened jackass. And again, that's me saying that with knowing the Shek are my favorite. The Shek are my favorite faction. They're assholes, man. They're super mean. They're super mean, even to other Shek. You know, they're falling apart internally. The faction is literally falling apart. So, you know, there's multiple ways you can look at it. I'm gonna head back down here actually, and I'm gonna fight off some Band of Bones. Get some combat going. Get some combat going for sure. Tech Hunters, the overall faction has, I would say, I wouldn't necessarily go with best intention. A lot of them are more prioritizing the financial gain, because it's a pretty lucrative profession if you're able to do it. It's also incredibly dangerous. But like in terms of just general atmosphere, they have the least amount of enemies, that's for sure. Everybody pretty much gets along with them. Tech Hunters are welcome pretty much anywhere, you know, provided they provided they meet certain criteria, because again, you can't have like a skeleton Tech Hunter going to the Holy Nation, but you know, they're definitely the most independently unbiased faction, that's for sure. So I like the Tech Hunters. I wish they were a little bit more fleshed out, you know. I've seen people go through an ally with every faction. I've seen them do it. It's difficult. I've seen people go through an ally not just with every faction, but ally with like every animal, like ally with the animal faction, and ally with like the gorillas and stuff. Like you can make allies out of anybody in the game. It just takes a bit of time, you know. It takes a bit of time. I will say on your point about killing the Phoenix. The Phoenix, the current Phoenix is like the worst Phoenix that has been around in a while. He's way more aggressive. He was literally raised by he was taken from his mother as the firstborn male after the previous Phoenix was killed or died or whatever happened to him. They took him and they raised him to be kind of a psychopath. I mean, they honestly, they raised him to be a bit of a psychopath. They pounded such religious fervor into him that they made him a psychopath, and that's why he's so aggressive. And it will probably happen again. We don't know for certain, but I will say at current, I would take the possibility of a better Phoenix over the current one that is a lot more aggressive. Because prior to him, honestly, the Holy Nation was largely isolationist. They were not going out and attacking people. This Phoenix takes over, and then he's like, all right, we're going to march into Bass. We're going to burn the nobles alive. We're going to butcher the cities. We have a war on three fronts. Like, they went from being isolationists to just super, super aggressive against specifically the United Cities right now, but I imagine after the United Cities they will expand upon that in their war efforts. So, no, Holy Nation's going to exist. It probably may not exist fully in the same capacity that it does now, but the Holy Nation was a cult that, towards the middle / end of the Holy Nation. We don't know the exact dates, but the Holy Nation. So Kenshi 2 takes place roughly between 900 and 1,000 years prior to Kenshi 1. And we know that the Holy Nation started out as a cult in the Second Empire, and before the Empire fell, the Holy Nation had a mass exodus, and they rebelled and left and settled in Oakran's Valley, right? So the Holy Nation will exist, but they may still be a more of a cult than a nation, and they also will not be nearly as large or organized or anything of that sort, but they will almost certainly exist if the lore is not changed. Yes, but no. The Holy Nation will be there, but they won't exist in the same capacity, I'm sure. Take out more of these guys. I'm trying to get if I can get the 10,000 cats for taking out Torah, that will be like the first step I need to get just a solid amount of money, right? I just need a solid amount of cash, and then from there I can start to really go wild here. Yeah, Holy Nation, they'll look different, that's for sure, but they will be in Kenshi 2 unless they change the lore. Especially because Kenshi 2 takes place after the fall of the Second Empire. You know, the Empire's not actively falling, it's dead. Or, you know, it's dead, and maybe there's a couple remnants that are trying to recover it, or, you know, maintain the facade that the Holy Nation's in charge, but no. Yes, I'm using mods. I am, in fact, using mods. I'm using a handful of mods. I will be posting the collection here very soon in the description of all the streams. So once that collection is put together, and you guys, if you have any interest in playing with the same mods that I use, feel free to download, and you guys can use my load order. I've gotten, you know, asked that question a couple of times over the years, and I figured it was time I finally got around to doing it. On up here. Head back up here, recover these boys, see if I can get myself a some kind of repair kit to fix my golem. I really need to get him an upgraded shell, but I have to go to the Black Desert to do that, and there's no fucking way that I would survive the Black Desert right now. No fucking way. Hey, talking so much, man. Get my throat all numb. Thank you. I do appreciate the compliment. I've been working at this for almost 3.5 years now. You know, the Kenshi's kind of a nicher community. It doesn't get as much screen time. I'm gonna sell that off, actually. It doesn't get as much screen time. The algorithm doesn't push it as much. You know, unless you're a creator that does other gaming content. So I do primarily Kenshi instead of primarily other stuff, and then some Kenshi. So I don't get nearly as much exposure. It's a slow roll, you know. I'm three years and change in, and I just hit 6K. It's definitely a slow uphill. I'm hoping that streaming will help with that, you know, bring some more people in. But I do appreciate the kind words. I definitely hope to be able to do this full-time one day and pump out more content for you guys and all that stuff. Wow, way to throw my golem out, man. That's fucking rude. Yeah, I hope to be able to do this full-time one day. That would be awesome. I haven't decided yet. These are dwarves, so I'm thinking probably in the mountains. I know the first time I did a dwarf playthrough, I built it somewhere. I want to say it was around here. I think I built it right around here. Zoom out a little bit. I built it right around here, and I don't want to necessarily build it in the same spot, but I might build over there, somewhere mountainous. You know, I got a theme to maintain here. You know. So, heal up my golem, and then we'll go back out for round 2. Spend a little bit of money that I have to get these guys healed up. I'm just trying to build their stats a little bit, get some toughness going. I might send them back down there and put these 2 on block. The Great Desert is a good spot for a base, that is true. They also have an outpost there that you can buy a tower in. I don't necessarily want to build in a town at first, but depending on how things go, and also I got to see if the Holy Nation cares about my golem. They might. They very well might, because they're in the system. They're flagged as animals, so I don't know if the Holy Nation will freak out about them or not. If not, I might buy a shack in the Holy Nation and set up there. Just because if I get knocked out in the field while I'm trying to build up some of my units, the Holy Nation will, you know, heal them, whereas the shack will kind of just leave me to die. So I would like to have some outside assistance. Bring you. I have not joined the Kenshi community Discord. I've always meant to. I'm just super what is it? I'm bad at like being in Discord communities, which is a really stupid excuse. But I'm just bad at it. You know, I'm not really active on Discord. I use it quite literally just for what it is, and I play D&D and stuff on it. One day I want to have my own Discord community, but again, I've always been apprehensive to even consider it because I'm just really bad at maintaining Discord stuff. But maybe, I was hoping, what is it, back in April when they did their first big, update in a while on Kenshi 2 and they revealed the new free camera mode, I was hoping to get more of a bump from that, but I got a good amount of exposure out of it, and I got a lot of content out of it too. So I did get a bump, but it wasn't actually from the post. It was from the subsequent videos that I made afterwards, as a result of the update. But my hope was by the end of the year to reach 10K. That's still kind of my goal, but it's not looking likely just because I only grow so many subs per day. You know, when you add it out, it doesn't reach there. At current, to reach 10K, it's going to take me, if I maintain my current speed, another year, almost 2 years. But I'll keep plugging along, keep going. I also use Discord for D&D, actually. I'm doing that. I do that. I've done it a couple times, and I'm actually starting a new campaign next week. So my buddy's DMing, and we're starting that. Very excited about it. So Discord's great for D&D. Love it. Love me some D&D. All right, these guys are all healed up. Let's head back down here and go at it again. My day was good. I spent the day at home, hung out with the wife and kids. I convinced my wife to watch the last Lord of the Rings movie. We sat down a couple weeks ago, watched all three of the Hobbits, and we've worked our way through chronologically. And today was the Return of the King. So pretty good day, if I do say so myself. All right, he's coming back. He's coming back up. Kenshi D&D would be fun. And I DM, currently I'm actually DMing a Curse of Strahd campaign for my wife and, my sister-in-law and a couple of our mutual friends and our couple friends and stuff like that. So I'm running Curse of Strahd right now. And then I'm actively playing in 2 campaigns as well. So play a lot of D&D, man. D&D's a big part of my life. Love D&D. Kenshi D&D would be badass. I'd have to work out. I'm sure somebody's worked out the rules before. I've seen people post about it on Reddit before. That's one community that I am relatively active in, is the Reddit community. You can usually find me on there somewhere at some point. Although I do, I post in there. I help people out. I send lore videos. If people have lore questions, I try to answer them. But Kenshi r/Kenshi can get a little aggressive. I've seen beam things, and you're right, it's super messed up. Horrifying stuff. It's the stuff of nightmares. Whatever absolute unit decided to create the beam things mod he's a genius and an absolute maniac, and someone needs to stop him immediately. They need to stop them immediately, because why would you do that? Why would you, who would do that? Awful. Fantastic and awful. I'm going to give you something other than that t-shirt. Yeah, he's an absolute mad lad. Absolute mad lad. Whoa, big group of... Is this Band of Bones? Yeah, where are they going? Oh, they're all headed up here to revive them. That's disheartening. Maybe? Let me attack them and see what I can get done. He'll probably... I mean, Vashu will survive. He's got decent stats, but the other ones I'm just trying to train up with. Actually, I'm going to put you guys on block. You got to build up your defense. Your guys' defense sucks. See? Defense sucks. Getting slapped around. Beep things? I've seen beep things too. That's hilarious. That is the whatever the opposite of stuff of nightmares is. It's beep things. Good for them. I'm always down for more beep. Our Lord and Savior. Do love me some beep things. Slap them around. Yeah, I doubt they would ever receive any kind of mod transactions or anything like that. Because, firstly, Lo-Fi just doesn't operate that way. They're very consumer-friendly. They're very customer-centric, which is cool. Everybody that was on my stream last night got to hear my massive rant about the state of AAA gaming. I'd be happy to rehash if you guys want to hear it, but, Kenshi, the people over at Lo-Fi actually care about their people. I don't think they would ever implement any kind of anything like that. I mean, they do mod shoutouts weekly on Facebook and on Reddit and all that stuff. So they're super customer centric. I don't think they're stupid enough to try and revamp Kenshi to make them more profit. They seem pretty happy with what they got, as they should be. They have a great community of people that support them, people that are more than happy to make content on their stuff, spread word of mouth. I mean, like, they've got a solid community, and it would be absolutely ludicrous to try and monetize their stuff. So don't worry about that. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen for sure. We'll keep you because I'm about to get me some more recruits in a minute. I'm hoping that maybe I can lure Torah the Fearless out here, but I doubt it. Usually these boys come in first. Come on. Thing about Kenshi, man, it's a slow ride up, and then once you finally start moving, you get moving. So these first couple episodes probably going to be just a lot of tuck and run, a lot of touch bases like this, where I'm just kind of figuring out as I go. But once we get moving, we'll get really moving. I just need to get a couple more recruits, what it is, and I need to get these guys built up. They're getting there. I mean, they're definitely getting there. What's her block at now? 18? Yeah, I just need to get their defense up, and then we can go from there, because right now they're just getting slapped around. They are just getting slapped around. All right, we got 2 more medics coming. Everybody good? Still no Torah? Wait, even if I can get a lot of them up here to knock them out up here and then leave them up here, I can run down there and fight her. All right, they're coming in at full force now. This happens when you start to pile up the bodies out here. They all end up, running the medic job, and you get overwhelmed, get swarmed. This golem here is a busted version. He's using a busted frame, right? Because their backpack is what makes their armor. So his frame is a busted frame. And then as when I go to the Black Desert, I can get better frames, or any of the mechanics. If there's anybody like a limbs trader or anything like that, they'll sell better frames. The dude up here actually may sell better frames. I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked, but so in short, he's using a busted frame. Once I replace his frame, he'll have 2 arms. And then depending on the frame that I use, not only will he have 2 arms, but he'll have little like blades on his arm as well. And then there's a variant, a couple like unique variants that have like swords and stuff, like Kenshi back at the Squin has those. I'm probably gonna snag him here soon once I get some cash saved up, because he will expedite the process here significantly. All right, we got a couple more coming up here. Same deal. Take them out. Just guerrilla warfare this. Yeah. Yeah, feel the pain. Feel the pain. That is one of my favorite things about the animation mod I'm running, where when you hit them, they just go flying like that. So I'm running 3 separate animation mods. And it makes the combat feel so much more lively. keep them up here. Come on. No. Put your weapon down. Stop healing. The other thing, too, is I'm trying to disarm a lot of these guys, so even if they do survive, when they get back up, they're just martial arting around, and they don't have the stats for that, so they'll be pretty easy to deal with. The robots won't... He's only broken because he's using that base frame. Once I put a new frame on him, he won't look like that anymore. I just have to go get him a new frame. It's, right now he's a broken unit, but eventually I'll get him a better frame. He won't be broken anymore, and he'll be a absolute friggin' unit. You gotta be careful. They're starting to gang up on me. The goal of this file is to end up... it's going to be total Dwarven supremacy. I want the only faction left on the face of Kenshi to be the Dwarves. I'm going to eliminate the Shek first. I'm going to go after the United Cities and the Holy Nation. And then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to Catlan. I want to eliminate the Cannibal Threat. I'm going for a total annihilation playthrough. I want the only real faction remaining should be the Dwarves. This is Dwarven supremacy, my guy. Dwarven supremacy. Come on. No, I'm not using a mod that, nerfs martial arts. I guess you could say it kind of nerfs it because I do have increased combat slots, so multiple enemies can attack at once. Martial arts is definitely the strongest, hands down. Yeah, I'm going to eliminate the hives. Absolutely, I'm going to eliminate the hives. Martial arts is hands down the strongest late game, even with the increased combat slots. Early on, it's garbage. The reason why I'm doing the Sheks first is because my playthrough, the Dwarves are largely based on the Dwarves from the Dragon Age series, where they fought the Darkspawn and the Deep Roads. And so I'm kind of running on that idea, and I want them to, they're fighting Darkspawn. The Darkspawn in this case are the Shek. I thought it was a nice comparison. They don't look the same, but they look close enough to where it works for me. It works, If this was Warhammer, the Shek would be the orcs. The Dawi will take them, but not the case. So we're going after the Shek first. Right now, I'm kind of existing in their territory while I'm building up my initial force, but once we get established, Shek are my targets. The golems can be overpowered, but they are not as overpowered as you would think. So I have the squad size turned up. So, cities and stuff are really, really populated. I mean, really populated. Not a couple units. Not I've gone into the Holy Nation before, 50 skeletons deep, all with stats in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and lost. I have a lot of... I have the squad limits turned up quite a bit in my settings. So I'm not worried necessarily about any of my golems or anything being super overpowered. Martial arts is overpowered late game, but, early on it's garbage. Which just makes sense, Punchy stuff, not great at first. Sell you. What? I'm going to have to give him that fragment axe. That combat cleaver, because the one he's got is garbage. Yeah, Tin Fist is going to be an interesting one to deal with, but I will do it. We'll go up there. The golems are definitely going to help. That's part of the reason why I don't mind using the golems. I'm not going to get a lot of them because I don't want to make the things too easy, but I don't mind using the golems because it kind of levels the playing field just enough, As for slaves, no, I don't really plan on using slaves. Not per se. The dwarves are a proud people. They are a proud people. There initially was a bug that made them pretty overpowered, but Hapless patched it. I had a conversation with him shortly after he patched it about it. So he patched it. They are, you know, pretty good now. The biggest thing with them is that they're tracked as animals, right? So they attack at the frequency of which like a bone dog does, and they also have a lot of charge attacks and ram attacks and stuff. But these golems are only as strong as the frame you put them in. Like, this golem will never be an overpowered unit until he gets a better frame. He sucks right now. He's garbage, and he will stay garbage until he gets a better frame. I'm definitely going to give Gurgle a beard. I just was prioritizing the usage of my cats at the moment towards recruitment and everything else before I did such, but I'm definitely going to give him a beard. Everyone's going to have a beard except the Womans, because I don't have a mod that lets me do it. But if I had a mod that let me make the Woman have beards, I'd give them beards too. Why not? I think it was Gimli that said the biggest mishandling of the dwarves is the idea that there are no dwarven women because the women look like the men, so you can't ever tell the difference. So everyone thinks the dwarves pop out of the ground. That's a canon line from Lord of the Rings. Gurgle needs to earn his beard. He's still kind of a backpack with shitey stats. When he matures into an adult that is capable of actually handling himself in combat, we'll talk about giving him a beard. But right now, he has not earned his beard. The dwarf women in Dragon Age do not have beards. You're correct. I'm mixing mediums here. All right, cut me a break. I'm mixing mediums. I am a dwarf and I dig the hole. You guys remember that? Oof, long time ago. Makes me feel old. All right, not even that old. Makes me feel old. The regular Ironsides, I mean, you can find them in most. You can find broken ones in most cities. The ones that are unique, that have like unique dialogue, and the ones that like carry dual swords, like Kenshi, or what's the other one? There's Kenshi, and which is the one that I use primarily, and then there's one more whose name escapes me. You can find them in certain select cities. Like there's one in Squin, there's one in the Black Desert City. Yeah, good number of them. All right. How are we doing on healing? All right, these boys are looking good. We need to get some food up in here. Yeah, Atlas is the one in Narcos Trap. He's a beast, man. He's an absolute fucking beast. Do not approach. He will eat you. He's an angry boy. He's mad. He's like just got his divorce paper, served his divorce papers. Mad. Do not approach. He will eat you. You mentioned a companion quest. Oh yeah. Offhand, here, I'll look it up right now. I can pull it up pretty quick. Yeah, the guy who made Ironsides, which is Hapless, he made a companion mod for Kenshi that was fantastic. So I will look it up right now, and I will let you know what it is. Hold on. There it is. Old Ironsides creature mod. It is unique companion Savage with an X. So Xavage. It's made by the same guy that made Ironsides. Fantastic mod. Fantastic guy. It's a full-on fleshed out companion with a quest system. He did great work. I mean, Hapless is a fantastic modder. You know, he's just really good at what he does. Everything that guy puts together is gold. I need a backpack, something fierce. I also, yeah, I need food for them and a backpack. How's he doing for food? He's good. These two just need them. We'll give... you one, and we'll give you one. There. That takes care of that. You can find it on Steam Workshop. If you search the old Ironside mods and then go to Hapless's workshop, it's right there. So you can find it right on the workshop. All right, back to it. They keep healing up, but I'm taking their weapons, so at a certain point they won't even be a threat anymore. Where is Torah? Where's she at? Because I've been trying to lure her out here for a while now, and I can't seem to do it. So let's find out where this lady is. She's the big lanky one, because that really narrows it down. She's got to be right here somewhere. Nope. Nope. Not her. Not her. Come on. Where you at? Try to do a targeted assault. I just want to take her out, get the money from her, and then I'll use the money from her to recruit Kenshi. And then from there, we will. I mean, we'll be good to start really moving. Is she even here? She's got to be here. I mean, the faction's still alive, so like she has to be here. I am probably just missing her, right? Again, the faction's still here, so like, because once Torah gets captured or killed, the Bandit Bones disappear. So she's got to be around here somewhere. She's super tall, super lanky. No, I don't see her. What in the hell is going on? Alright, I guess we'll just keep doing what we're doing, because... Oh, is that her? No? That would have been convenient if she was up here, alone, unsuspecting. But not so much luck. No, her weapon isn't unique. She usually, I think she uses a fragment axe. I mean a frame axe, similar to the one that is being used by Truth here. So she doesn't have like a might tower or anything. She's not cool like that. She's just because the whole point of her is that she's leading a group of exiled Shek because they don't want to be persecuted. Oh, there she is. There she is. Yeah, see, she's just using a shiny little frame axe. She's leading a group of exiled Shek because she doesn't want to be persecuted for fleeing a battle. They call her Torah the Fearless in the group, but in actuality she fled a battle, and the Shek want her thrown in jail because she is wanted for the crime of desertion, which is a big faux pas in Shek culture. They're not allowed to run away from a fight. She should have had her horns torn off like Ruka, but for whatever reason she managed to dodge it. And then she came out here with a group of other Shek, and she's doing her thing. Actually, I have a really good idea, a possibly good idea. I'm going to use a little bit of money that I have to hire some mercenaries. You guys come up here to come fight with me, because two of my three other members besides them. No. So don't get it twisted about Asada. She's not like it's not that she doesn't believe in senseless battle. It's that she doesn't believe in dying. She doesn't want the Shek Kingdom as a whole and the Shek people to throw their lives away for a fight they will not win. Right? She opposed Shagger only after Bayan was shamed, because she realized that if the Shek attacked the Holy Nation, which they were at war with them for quite a while, right? Like a couple of years, couple of months, like it was a good amount of time. And they were losing horribly. And Shagger was mounting a final assault against the Holy Nation. And it was literally going to be, we're going to round up every Shek in the Empire, and we're going to go die. None of them had any inkling that they were going to win. None of them thought they were going to win. It wasn't like we're going to go and fight and we're going to try and win. It was, we're going to go die and we're going to follow the rule of Krell. And Bayan, who had been disgraced because he's more of an intellectual than a fighter, and in Shek culture, that's not a good thing, stepped up and was like, nah, I'm not okay with throwing my life away. Like, we can live to fight another day, you know? So Shagger he wasn't for it. He shamed him and threatened him. And Asada, who was one of the 5 Invincibles, hold on, I gotta drink some water. Asada, who was one of the 5 Invincibles, stepped up and was like, I'm not going to let this stand. Bayan's right. We need to think about this strategically. We can't just rush to our death. And so she fought Shagger. She killed him. And she implemented a rule, like the rule of law, essentially being, we're not going to race to our death. We're going to rebuild and live to fight another day. And, you know, on the surface, that seems like a good idea. She's still about strength, though. You know, it's not that she's not against strength. She just didn't want all of the Shek to die for no reason. That kind of defeats the purpose of having an empire. But in doing that, she secured that they all survived another day. She splintered the faction in its entirety. Most of the Shek left to go to the United Cities to take on work as mercenaries so they can find an honorable death. A bunch of the ones that still followed King Shagger left with Iron Bull, and they became Flying Bull. Sorry, wrong game. Left with Flying Bull, and they became the Krall's Chosen. Ghost, who is the leader of the Berserkers, same deal. I had a whole section on what happened to Ghost offhand. I can't remember what it was. But he ended up leaving the faction as well because he was shamed. And it's a similar thing that happened to Torah. And so the faction became incredibly splintered. And Iron Bull does sound better. The faction became incredibly splintered. And so even though the Shek live to fight another day, they are not... they're not looking good right now. But in short, you know, Asada's not going to forgive Torah for her fearlessness because she still believes in Shek values. She just doesn't believe in a suicide run, you know? She wants to see the Shek succeed, and being a coward and running from battle is not going to be successful. And then aside from that, she also has to keep the other Shek in line, right? If she did a complete 180 of all their values and was like, nah, we're going to let the cowards live, we're going to let people... run away from battles. We're going to let people, violate our long-standing traditions and basically just say out the wind with the code of Krall. They would rebel. They would totally. They may be a meritocratic society, and she may have fought her way to victory, but the 5 Invincibles that are currently under her would have challenged her. There's no way in hell they wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been good. So. Torah is a coward, and even Asada thinks that, you know. I gotta find her again. Make sure I want to make sure my main guy is targeting her, while my bounty hunters work on the rest of them and keep them distracted. That's the goal here. Is she still up here? Because I'm only here for Torah. Once Torah's down, I'm gonna probably just grab her and run. I need the money from turning her in. And I can go from there. There she is. Okay. So you, going here, 3 of you guys take your block off. It does raise the opinion a little bit. It's more of a setup. It's a setup motion, right? I'm going to raise my opinion of them because I need the money. But once I'm an established nation, we're taking the Shek out. This is just an established, like something to set up the faction initially. It's a quick way to get money. Specifically, I need money so I can recruit Kenshi, and this is a fast track to do that. Because once I recruit him, we're running, baby. Kenshi's a monster. He'll give me the advantage that I need. Yeah, no, you don't want to piss them off too early. It will not go well, especially since once I establish my outpost, depending on where I set it up, they're going to be coming after me for tribute anyway, and that's probably going to be how the war starts, is when they come after me for food tribute. If I were to choose between them, which would I expect to be good? Define good. Do you mean like morally good, or do you mean like good long term? like survivability or morality, because those are two different questions. If it's morality, none of them, they're all bad. If it's survivability, unfortunately, I'm going to have to like aim for probably. I mean, the Holy Nation survived longer than any faction right now, currently. So I'm going to have to continue probably rolling with them. They are the oldest, and they're also the most secure and currently the strongest. So, for the sake of survival, Holy Nation. Not for everybody, obviously, only for their people, but Holy Nation, hands down. Morally, no, they're all evil, man. They're all horrible in some way. The Shek are trying to fix themselves. Yeah, no, for humans, only for humans. Let me clarify. They are best for humans, but they are also the most likely to survive in any concept. If you remove the racial concept behind it, right? Like they're only good for humans. If you remove that from the equation and just look at the people of this faction, are they going to survive? It's still Holy Nation. United Cities falling apart. Shek Kingdom fractured, probably going to fall apart. And the other thing is, like, if Asada loses her reign to any other Shek, honestly, like, if any other Shek challenged her and managed to beat her, they're going to go right back to the way of Crow. They're going to go right back to the rule that they were following before, and they'll probably end up doing a suicide run to fight the Holy Nation. A lot of the Shek actively want that right now. When you go into a city, a lot of them complain that, like, I could have died an honorable death on the battlefield fighting the Holy Nation dogs, but instead I'm stuck here on guard duty. Unfortunately, if Asada loses her reign, which if someone challenges her, she's gonna, provided that they're strong enough to do it, that'll be that. That's it. Game over. Asada is pretty much the only thing keeping them in line, and she is not a guarantee to keep them in line. She's only as strong as her hold on them is only as strong as her hold on her sword is. If she can defend her reign, then she's good. But if she can't, that's it. Check her over. I have to let one of these guys get up naturally to carry the other one. Asada does have a daughter at Seto, but she's not nearly strong enough. There's a reason that Asada sends her out to work with you when you become an ally. She wants to get Seto away from Shek culture to see the other parts of the world and understand that there has to be, it can't just be go off and fight your enemies until you die. There's more to life than that, and there's more to effective strategy and planning, right? Being good with your sword doesn't make you a good warrior. You need to be a tactician. You need to be, like, think for the long game. And no, Shek lifespan is about the same as a human. Genetically, they're the same. The average Shek lifespan is actually less than a human's because they die in battle. But the actual, like, ability, how long they live, is the same as humans. I mean, they affectionately are humans. They're just humans that have evolved on a different tree, per se. I need to heal her and keep her alive, otherwise I will lose her. Yeah, I mean, she wants Seto to experience life outside of Shek culture, so that that way she understands what makes a great warrior, right? But there's a reason that she only gives you Seto and gives you permission to like take Seto as a companion after you've proven yourself as a mighty warrior and you've become a member of the Invincibles. It's because she needed to have someone that was capable of training her daughter. She needed someone that was not only capable of training her daughter, but existed outside of the Shek, like idiosphere. Like, she needed somebody that represented what a good leader, a good warrior should be. They have to be tactful. They have to be strong. They have to be wise. They can't just be run forward and slam it with your sword until it dies, right? My expert strategy, form up on me and hit it till it dies. There's more to it than that. So that's why she waits to send Seto with you until you've proven yourself to be not just a good warrior physically, but competently as well. So if Seto survives long enough and survives the training, to take over her mother's position one day, which she would have to do. It's not a rule of matriarchy. It's a rule of you have to overthrow your mother. So eventually, if Seto wants to rule, Seto's going to have to kill her mom. You know? Like, keep that in mind. Shek don't just step down. She's going to have to kill her mother. And I think ultimately Asada wants that. I think she wants Seto to be trained to kill her mother. But none of that happens without player intervention, right? And that's the other thing. Like, we can speculate on what will happen here and what's going to happen there, but the truth is without player intervention, the Shek are fucked. They're done. And it sucks because they're my favorite faction, but they're fucked. At current, there's no way, you know? Come on, get up. Once she gets up, we're good to go. Once she gets up, we're good to go. I'm just waiting for her. Although I am going to come down here and loot some of these people because they're pretty much all dead. I can loot their weapons and all that stuff. Thankfully, my bounty hunters here, my tech hunters here, were pretty effective at what they do. Get some extra cats from this little run of ours. Oy vey. Yeah, these guys they shredded them. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't think Seto would do it either. I think the idea is that she would have to kill her mother, but I don't think she would have the balls to do it. I just think that technology evolved differently. That's all. I think technology evolved in a different way, and I think that's just done because of to keep things thematic. You know, they have AI technology and they have like laser technology and supercomputer technology, but I think as things evolved, things like gunpowder. The other thing is like the ingredients, the ways to make gunpowder may not be found on Kenshi. You know, it just may not be a natural resource that they have to make it. There could be a number of reasons. I just think that technology evolved differently on Kenshi, and it still favors these kinds of. I think it evolved differently, and then after the great collapse of the First Empire, it remained different. So I don't think there's any big answer for that. I would like to believe that the Shek will make it, and that Seto will bring about a golden age of Shek, but without player intervention, I personally don't see it happening. But it's a nice. We can all hope and we can dream, you know. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys have a different idea or different opinion. Which pack beast? Dude, obviously it's pack bulls. They're fucking battering rams, man. I'm bringing pack bulls with battering rams, hands down. I'm gonna raise them up to be just absolutely aggressive units. I might end up going with the cage beast, but I would have to install it, and it's a possibility I might just be. But they are really large. I don't know if it would necessarily fit with the theme. I think the pack bulls would look really cool just because of like what they are. You know, they're like armored bulls, man. It's badass. Pack bulls are great. I'm for using bone dogs too. I plan on using bone dogs. I installed a mod in my collection here that adds some more variation to the bone dogs, and it changes their stats around a bit to make them more unique and a little bit more tough, so they don't get shreked, early on. Like I can get a pup and he won't get absolutely raided and destroyed. So I'm probably going to end up using animals. I want to make like a nice Dwarven Empire though, and I think the pack bulls they just fit in. They just fit in. And I don't think I would use them necessarily as pack animals as much as like war beasts, right? Like, can you imagine rolling up on a field? You imagine this. You get an army of like 50 dwarves together, 50, 60 dwarves together, right? And you have them lined up in formation, and then you have like 20 pack bulls standing at the front of the line, and they are the initial charge, like cavalry. It's just beautiful. I have seen the bull riding mod. I haven't I didn't install it because I haven't tested it, and I don't want to install something that's going to break the order, because the current load order I have is very stable, right? And that's why I'm excited to put it out as a collection for everybody, because it's an incredibly stable load order. I've never had a crash with this load order. I definitely, if I test it and it works well, I will absolutely add it. It provided again that it works well and it's not not kind of shiny. So I think it's time. Where is it? We have 15,000. We have Torah. Okay, yeah, we're gonna head back. Downside is my leg is absolutely messed up right now. How's Torah doing? Is she still on recovery coma? She is. Okay, so we're gonna put her down. How's her leg? Okay, we're gonna put him down. Have her pick up Torah, and I'm gonna send him up to recover. Alright, so we're going to let them heal up for a bit. And then once they're recovered, we'll go back. We'll turn in Torah. We'll recruit Kenshi. And then from there, we will start to head up north. Yeah, we'll probably head up north. In terms of recruiting more dwarves, my best bet's probably going to be a head towards the United Cities. For sure. Because in this particular region, the presence of humans outside of the Holy Nation is pretty low, and I don't think that with my golems I'm going to be able to head up north. I could probably send one of my guys up there to like do like a mass recruiting run and get like a good couple of them, but I don't think I'm going to be able to bring the golems in with me, which you know, my dwarves ain't going to go nowhere without their golems. That would be foolish. They were built with dwarven iron. Yeah, noble hunters are pricks. They're not my favorite. To be honest, this is really stupid. The faction that I find the most entertaining in terms of like the sphere of influence in the United Cities is the United States heroes, because they are far too weak to be running their mouth the way they do. The way that they come up and talk so much shit and they can't back it up kills me every time. Every time. Like, some of the bandit factions, you kind of expect it, but these guys come in and they're like, we're human supremacy and fuck everybody else, and we can do this. And then they, like, unlike the Holy Nation, who's like says stuff like that, these guys have stats like they're like 15th. They're so weak. Don't go around picking fights with what is essentially 3/4 of the entire racial makeup of the moon when you don't have the ability to wield like anything beyond a rusty dagger, you filth. What is wrong with you? Keep that shit to yourself, man. It's just funny because they're dumb. And I get a good giggle out of watching them try. Like, they try so hard, right? Like, that's the thing that kills me is, like, they follow you outside of town, and they're like, hey, Bugman, hey, fucking Bone Boy. And they try to talk shit. Their insults aren't good. And then they think they're going to teach you a lesson. And not what happens. Not what happens, you know? They get absolutely wrecked. It doesn't happen. That bone dog might come after us. Nope, he's too busy. I can tell you, let me tell you, anybody that was on the stream last night, I'm so happy that I got the FPS issue figured out and figured out like what was causing the lag out on my stream, because I've been able to get so much more done. Last night I felt like it was literally just like me running back and forth on the map and me talking. I've been able to get so much more done. So much better. And the game looks better because I didn't have to turn my settings down. I was really bummed about that, right? Like, I've been complimented on my Kenshi and how it looks aesthetically for years. And so I was like, I get to stream and people get to see my pretty game because I'm really proud of it. And, you know, I put a lot of work in my graphical setup, and then I had to fucking down my settings to make it even remotely playable because I was a dope and tried to stream in 2K when I didn't have the upload speed to handle it. Is it my fault? Yes. But my lord, I was a little annoyed about it, but we figured it out. All is well. Everything worked out in the end. But yeah, no, I've gotten way more done this run than I did last night. That's for sure. Making some real progress. No, my wife's not really a gamer. My wife plays the standard stuff. You know, she plays a lot of Sims. She plays when Hogwarts Legacy came out, she was playing Hogwarts Legacy with me, but she's not a huge gamer. She plays things like Planet Zoo and stuff too. She's kind of like a newly developing nerd. She's not, but she's not really into this kind of stuff. But she's kind enough to listen to me talk about Kenshi an awful lot. Honestly, she's probably sick of hearing me talk about Kenshi at this point, because every time a new lore video, I drop a new lore video, I have to go through and re-explain the entire, timeline to her, because I have to talk to somebody about it, you know. So, but she's kind enough to listen to my prattling on when I babble about my lore for a super long time. She's pretty awesome. Yes, Zagan, not Kenji. Kenji is the one that's in the Black Desert. Zagan's the one that's in Squin. So, one day I'll pay for his services. I'm worth more than you because you're a scum. We're just gonna hold our ground. Come on, join me. 10,000 cats. Boomski. All right. We're going to leave him named. Zagan is going to be the head of our golems. All right, so of all of our golems, Zagan's going to be the one in charge. Yeah, Zagan's the one here. Kenji is the one that is in the Black Desert City, and then Atlas is the one that's in Narcos Trap. And then there's one more unique one, too, but I don't remember where he is. I think he's in Catan. I think he's in Catan. So... all right, we have Zagan, and Zagan is a fucking unit. His stats may look like mid, but because he's ranked as an animal, his attack patterns are wildly different. Wow, my allergies are killing me right now. His attack pattern is wildly different, and he does way more damage. So, I wholeheartedly recommend a modded playthrough. I do. It's great. Kenshi is one of those games where once you start modding, it's difficult to go back to baseline Kenshi, but I would recommend it. And you know, if you're interested in mods and you want something that doesn't take away from the vanilla experience too much, I'll be putting this collection out soon. Like I said, I really tried to make sure that it maintained that vanilla feel. I didn't want to take away from it. I didn't want to alter things too much. 10 out of 10 would recommend, but you know, to each their own. All right, we're gonna go look for some dust bandits. That's what I'm gonna do, and probably head north after that and start trying to find some recruits in the Holy Nation. I've got about 15. Actually, no. Hold on. First things first. Before we do anything with recruits, I need armor. That's what we need. I need to outfit my current dwarves. I need to slow my roll. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to outfit my guys, though. I'm thinking mercenary plates. No, maybe... ooh, barbaric folds. Those are really good. I do enjoy the look of those. What do you guys think I should run with? What, yeah, I'll have a link on YouTube. It'll be on... I'll put it... once the collection is done, I'll announce it in my community tab, and I'll post a link, and I'll also put a link on all of the previous streams and the streams moving forward as well, so you guys can download it if you want to see it. What armor should I run with? Should I run mercenary plate? I was going to run mercenary plate because I like the pauldrons, right? But I might... maybe I should go with the barbaric... let's see how they look. See how they look. On my little boys. My little boys and geese. All right, barbaric plate. We'll use the standard one real fast. All right, so barbaric plate looks like that. It's no, I'm not really for it. See the raggedy one right there. I'm really thinking mercenary plate for right now. Later on, I have an armor set that I'm going to use, that I know I'm going to use, but I don't have the ability to get that armor set right now. So right now I'm trying to figure out what I want to outfit them with, and I'm thinking plate, mercenary plate. I think it fits. Yeah. Yep. Plate it is. All right, so we're gonna outfit these boys with mercenary plate. Get rid of the leather. Out with the old, in with the good. Which one did I put him in? Did I put him in standard? Yeah, no, we need to give him something better. All right, so I need to get rid of that turban on his head too, and give him something proper. Give him a helmet that's properly befitting of a dwarf. Oh, this was something else I did. All right, so we're gonna get rid of the tricorn hat. Here's what we'll do. We'll put Gurgle. We'll give him a wolf headgear. This was another one of the mods that I installed. So all right. So I have two options for the end game armor that I'm going for. One of them is the Iron Will armor from the Iron Will HQ mod. Right, it adds a new faction. It's really fucking cool. Super for that. The one that I am more privy to go with though is I have a mod that installed. It's the same one armor that I outfitted the original Dwarf Legion with in my first Kenshi Rise of the Dwarves playthrough, which is the Imperial Legion armor from Oblivion. It looks so fucking good. It looks so good. And it also comes with a shield that functions like a backpack that looks as a shield. So like if you equip it with the right stuff, it looks like you've got dwarves in heavy plate mail wearing with shields, and it fits actually really well in Kenshi. Throat is so dry. All right, we're gonna give her. She's Truth here has been, she's not the best in terms of attack, but she has been a very helpful follower, to be honest, far more than Gurgle has. Gurgle has not been pulling his weight, let me tell you. Tin can. How do the mask helmets look? No, it looks too much like a slave monger. I don't want to look like I'm copying their style, you know what I'm saying? Not for me. Maybe we run visored helms. Is there a cheaper one? Not currently. How the spiked helms look? A little dust bandity. Tin can. Oh yeah, no, that works. Tin can works. I do like the tin can actually. I didn't think I was gonna, but I do. It ain't be what it is, but it do. All right, we're gonna put these two in tin cans, and then Ashu, he's our head dwarf. He's the one in line for kingship right now. So we're gonna give him something that separates him a little bit. Maybe we should give him the wolf headgear. No, we'll hold that for now. We'll wait until we get a bone. When we start building up a serious army, I'll put the bone dogs, a force of bone dogs and animals together, and I have my beast tamer unit. Wear the bone dog helmets, bone dogs and pack bulls. Be good. Be a good time. No. Yeah, we'll leave him. We'll leave his head exposed for now. We'll get him something out there later. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Tricorn's coming back. I was gonna get rid of the tricorn, but tricorn's coming back. Yeah, tricorn's coming back. And Zagan will let us pick up a lot more stuff because he has a lot more space, so we can start to gather a lot more loot. All right, let's go find some dust bandits. People to fight. Yeah, I definitely think the tin can. I've never used the tin cans on as like ever. I mean, literally ever. I've never used the tin cans before, so I'm super satisfied with that. I think they look really cool. Actually, I'm pleasantly surprised how well they blend with the mercenary. So, I'm satisfied. Oh yeah. All right, let's keep moving here. We're gonna start heading towards Dust Bandit territory, or their main base. I'm not gonna take them out quite yet, but I'm definitely gonna head over that way. Yeah, I mean, I largely roll for aesthetics. It's a real problem actually. I'm usually too focused on the aesthetics. I couldn't give a shit how functional it is. I just care about aesthetic. I have a certain idea, a certain aesthetic in mind, and I just want it to be what it be. But I'm pleasantly surprised with the tin can helmets. You know, historically speaking, I think I've never used them. What are these guys? Starving bandits. All right, let's prove that you're worth your weight in cats, Zagan. Show him what for it means to be my head golem. Attack these boys here. Get some combat training in. Let's switch over to Zagan real quick. Watch this man work. He just... crushes it. Absolutely crushes it. Yeah, see, now we're starting to pick up speed. We're starting to be able to take units down. You two really need to get your lives together. James, good to see you, my guy. I'm happy to see you. Wait, I don't know if you were on the stream last night, but if you were, you might have saw the Holy Nation units. I'm using the Crusader armor, and oy bay, they look really good. If that armor wasn't already being used by the Holy Nation in this load order, I would probably use it on my dwarves. But thematically, it'll look too much like I'm part of the Holy Nation. Yep. This is the old Ironsides mod from the Dust Bandits show up after we fought, so we're already kind of injured. Switch you two to guard mode. Not that you'll be able to deal with it, but all right, here we go. All right, we'll establish contact. All right. Give me your katans or I'll hack off your arm. Tell him to piss off. Yep, alright. Fight has begun. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Zagan's probably going to be the one to finish it. If we survive it, it's going to be because of Zagan. But he's already taken some serious beating. It's the archers right now that are a problem. Now we're actually holding our own pretty well. I'm glad to see that my group, despite their small size and the difficult start that we had, I'm glad to see that they're actually like performing. You know, archers in large number and stealth archers are fucking busted. I mean, it's Skyrim magic stealth archer all over again. Yeah, dude, Zagan, he's crushing it. He definitely MVP. All right, you know, I'm happy with how things are going. I'm genuinely satisfied that my small group of 5 right now was able to take a group of hungry bandits and a group of dust bandits shortly afterwards. My fucking allergies today, my God. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Alright, where's that leader at? There he is. Hello, you. Spiked armor. I'm going to take that. I am a big fan of that. That is for sure. The weapon. Zagan is going to pop over here because I am going to confiscate their weapons. Or many of their weapons. Anything that is not of this rusty garbage quality is getting stolen. Yeah, man, the sniper bots in the Sniper Valley are scary is an understatement. They'll take you out quick. I mean, there is no defense What else we got going on here? Anybody else got decent weapons that I can take? Anything that's worth money, you know? All right, I think we've done everything we needed to here. Let's head up to the hub. Yeah, man, my Tao following sun. Oh shit, Truth is still there. How's your arm looking? Grab her. Oh my god, they're still fighting. They just don't know when to die. Nope, not currently. I am YouTube exclusive. I don't know if I'll ever end up moving over to Twitch at current. I really like streaming on YouTube. I like it because I'm trying to establish my channel as a whole, and you know, I've already got a decent following on YouTube. You know, I just hit the 6K sub mark, so maybe one day I'll move over to Twitch as well and do both, especially since they lift the exclusivity issue where you know, you can only do one, but at current, no, I'm not over on Twitch. You know, maybe one day, but not current. With that being said, I do plan on streaming things besides Kenshi. I'm going to be doing my Kenshi build videos on here. Obviously, I'm going to move those from my long-form content, like type of content that I've been doing, where I do like speed builds. And I think I'm going to start doing live builds so you guys can see in real time what my thought process is, how to use the Shift F12 menu to do build bases, show you guys how I test it, make sure that everything's worked, because, you know, everybody's always curious if my builds are functional, if you can use them. The answer is yes. I test all of them, but you know, you guys can watch me build them in real time and see how that works, and you know, learn how to build your own aesthetic functional bases using the in-game menu. So looking forward to that, but I'm also going to be doing other games that you know, I have been playing recently. I just to engage with the community a bit, you know, see you guys have conversations, chat. I really want to do Going Medieval. I play a lot of that. Maybe Baldur's Gate. You know, Chivalry. That's always good. Total War. I've really wanted to stream Total War for you guys and play some Total Warhammer specifically, but you know, I plan on doing quite a bit. Oh, the camera mode's super easy. Hold on, I'll show you in a minute. It'll take almost no time at all. Let me just get in here where it's relatively safe and we're not gonna bleed out and die. All right, camera mode. You literally just hit the semicolon button, and then you're free, good to go. And you can fly around. And this is how I get pretty much all of my camera footage. Ooh, sorry, loading the area, so it's a little. There we go. This is how I get my camera footage and stuff now. You can tilt it. You know, do a drone shot. It may not be updating in real time. I'm replying to the chat that's on the side of my screen, so when it pops up on the side of the screen, that's when I reply to it. It may not be in real time. I'm not totally sure. There might be a slight delay just because the YouTube is, you know, YouTube, but I'm replying basically on the chat that's on the side of my screen, not necessarily the live chat that you may see. I don't, because the live chat that you may see may not be updating properly. You couldn't break the free camera. Like you couldn't do the things that you could rotate it. You could rotate left and right and like actually do a full rotation, but now you've been disconnected from the ground. Hold on, let me sell off my gear and I'll explain it, because there's a really good science behind why they did it, because they built it originally as a developer tool to help them in the process of developing the game, specifically and adding updates to the game, and then they added to it. All right, so with rotation, if you hit Q and E, this is what you get, right? It's a side-to-side rotation, and that's it. You can zoom in and stuff, but your camera is tied to the ground. So whenever I was doing any zooming shots, so for like creators and stuff, I'm tied to the ground, right? So I would get it like right here, and then I would have to zoom in like this. And because you're tied to the ground, I would get, you know, their feet. You're not seeing it with the dwarves because they're low to the ground, but like I would be so low to the ground. And it was super annoying, and if I zoom out, the camera speeds up, so I couldn't get a nice, effective cinematic shot. With the free cam, you're disconnecting the camera from the ground, and it's connected to your mouse. And when you move, you're flying around and using your mouse to steer. So now, and then you use your scroll wheel to slow down the camera. So now I can go at any angle and I can get nice cinematic shots. I can get angled shots that were previously unusable. I mean, unobtainable. I can get like skyline shots that were not there. So for everyday use, no, it's not yet necessary. No one who's playing Kenshi is going to use it to play Kenshi. But for creators like myself and for like mod authors and stuff, this tool was a godsend, absolute godsend. Yeah, I listen, man. I'll mark it for lo-fi for days, man. They gave me a good feature that made my life a hell of a lot easier. I'm able to get footage way faster now. I can tell you that much. And I'm able to get footage that not only is faster, but it looks better. You know, you can see the jump in quality after April 1st when that video came out in my lore videos. Like the quality jump was bananas. And they knocked it out of the park, man. In terms of creating a functional tool for us creators, they nailed it. Nailed it. I need to get something to heal my brobots. But first I need to heal myself. Heal up a bit. These guys need to get it together. Right now they're sitting at about 15 for their defense, but their attack stats are in the shitter because I'm pretty sure it's the helmet. Yeah, -5, but it's just they need protection on their head. You know, they're too squished right now. Maybe later when their toughness is up, but right now if they took a solid shot to the head, they'd die. They would die. Oof, they need food is what they need. Zagan's going to come over here. I'm going to store some food in Zagan's pack. And that will allow me to just have them eat right out of that. We'll take some of yous. Give me some of yous. They got any other foods in here? No, they don't. Nothing good. Alright, it's garbage. Nothing but garbage. Yeah. It's all crap. No food. Or not enough food. Noted. Alrighty. Once we're done here, I'm going to head up north a little bit. Probably going to Holy Nation territory. I'll just have to keep my golems outside or keep them just outside of Holy Nation territory. I don't want to risk them getting exposed, but I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about mounts. I think, I'm almost entirely confident boats are a guarantee. You know, I talked about it a bit last night, but the problem with why I think that the boats are not, whether I think the boats are a guarantee, and like why I don't think people have to worry about whether or not they're going to be in there, is like Lo-Fi knows that the community is 100% convinced that boats are a thing, and they also know that the community is really excited about the prospect of boats, right? But like they've done nothing to curb that expectation. Like if your whole community is really stoked about a concept or an idea, and you know that it's not going to be in the game, it would be in your best interest to curb that expectation and be like, hey guys, like I know everybody's really stoked about boats, but like I don't want you guys to get in game and be pissed off that we don't have them. So like we know boats are going to be there, but in terms of general mounts like bikes or like riding animals and stuff, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I think it would be a pain in the ass to implement, firstly, but I also think that you know, it could be fun. It could really change the way that we play Kenshi for sure. I don't know. I'm not really huge on it. I think it'd be a lot to manage. I think that the boats, I hope they operate. I hope the boats play a big role, and I hope they have something beyond transportation. I think it would be really cool to implement the ability to board other vessels, right? Like I don't want just like a tiny little like raft, right? Like I want a boat with like multiple people on it, and I want to be able to pull up on other boats and show them what for it mean. Oh shit, hold on. Opportune. Where's that animal trader? Where's that animal trader at? Come in. There he is. Show me what you got, my guy. Bone dog, although they don't look like they're in good shape. Yeah, I worry with mounts about the potential functionality. How functional are they going to be, you know? The way that Kenshi plays, I think it I don't know, it could go either way. If they implemented it well, I'd be for it, but I struggle to find a realm in which they implement it in a good way, you know? So, we'll see. We'll see. I can't say mounts are high on my list of things that I'm like, Kenshi 2 needs mounts, you know? Pack bull, wild bull. Bone dog or wild bulls, guys? Bone dog or bulls? Which one should I grab first? Which one? I'm leaning more towards bone dog, I think, just for the sake of having them, but maybe pack bull. You know what? We're gonna wait. I need to prioritize getting more dwarves first. Do you have any repair kits? Skeleton repair kits? No, of course not. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait. I need to prioritize building up my primary force before I start adding in dogs and stuff. Especially since I'm struggling right now with keeping my people fed. Adding bulls to the mix, probably not a good idea. Adding dogs to the mix, probably not a good idea. Their hunger ratio, their rate of hunger depletion is too much to handle right now when I'm not established, not set up. Got to be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Got to be smart about it. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd rather have strong guys than, overdo it and overexert myself. Spread too thin, can't feed my people, and then I start starving. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. It's never great. It's never great when they start getting when they start starving, right? It's really annoying when your people start starving because, like, oh dude, feeding Shek is the worst. I did an all Shek playthrough one time where I did it was a whole group of Shek. Here, we're gonna find out if the Holy Nation's gonna attack us because of our bro bots. Probably. I don't see why they wouldn't, but I think this is a lone paladin. We can probably take him between the 5 of us. Is he gonna get mad? Come on, come on. If I can walk in there with Zagan, I'll be stoked. Because again, they're counted as animals, but I don't know if they're gonna look at them like skeleton spider or what the deal is with that. Like a spider bot, maybe. Am I good? Am I good? Am I good? Wait. By Jove, I think I'm good. Yeah. Love it. All right, cool. So I don't have to worry about that. 2 stack I go. Let's go recruit me some dwarves. And by dwarf, I mean dwarves. I mean Griffin specifically. I want to recruit Griffin. Make him a short boy. Now that I know that the Holy Nation will not attack. You see what I'm saying about that armor, though? That Crusader armor? If I wasn't actively planning to use the Imperial armor, and if I wasn't trying to create a faction that is like aesthetically separated from the Holy Nation, I'd use that in a heartbeat because it's badass. Badass. It's good. It's good. Head on in here. Let's get me some food and recruit Griffin. I'm assuming he's going to be in one of these bars. Not that one. No. Size is purely aesthetic. Doesn't have any real standing on anything other than aesthetics. I think it might make him a little faster, actually, but don't quote me on that. I haven't quite looked into all the nuances behind what changing certain aspects of your character's physical appearance are, but I think that changing their height might make them a little faster, but not certain on that. Don't quote me. I'm probably wrong. There he is, a griffin. See, Griffin's out here talking about the first extinction. He says the destruction of the ancient capitals 1,000 years past, according to the doctrine of the Holy Lord Phoenix himself, who was the agents of, the skeletons that caused the extinction. So it's interesting that the Holy Nation is capable of understanding and knowing that the first extinction happened because of the skeletons, considering how different and altered their religion is in many of the other aspects, like how they changed Stobe to Kytrin to Kytrin to Okrin, right? And I think that kind of lends to the idea that the skeletons of the Second Empire might have been a bit more forthcoming about the details of the first extinction. I don't think they started hiding that shit until after the Second Empire, which is why I think even though the ruins of the First Empire are going to be buried underwater, drowned underwater, in the in Kenshi 2 because of the way that the topography is, I think we're going to get some pretty good info on the First Empire, because I don't think the skeletons were actively hiding that shit back then. Not in the way they are now. You know, like now they're actively suppressing the information. Back then I just think they were like more like don't talk about it, you know? So, all right, we're gonna take Griffin. Now I am gonna have to take him to a plastic surgeon to make him shorter, because he is a unique recruit who does not change when you well, he doesn't give you the opportunity to do that when you recruit him. But oh, look at that, he comes with a Holy Crusader arm on him. That's cool. Didn't know that. Yeah, like this armor on the dwarves would be absolutely stunning, but it's the Holy Nation armor, and I can't be mixing the armors. You know what I'm saying? It's not working for me. I don't want to look like the Holy Nation. So hideout, huh? Ooh, I could really do trial by fire. No, I can't send him into the fog. That'd be fucked up. That'd be messed up of me. Send him for some real training in the fog, but it's too early for that. That'd be a bad idea, especially since I'm doing a no save scum playthrough. That would be a bad idea. What I am going to do is head... What do I want to do here? What should we do next? Let's head farther up. We're going to head farther north. I feel pretty confident that we can handle, maybe not most foes, but we can handle most, bandit groups or wolves or anything like that. At the very least, I know that our golems will handle them. So Zagan's a monster. I do have to find a mechanic shop to replenish my rebuild my golems, because they're kind of messed up, but see, Holy Nation territory, other than the occasional bone dog issue or some, cheap starving bandits that might be wandering around, there's really not that many bandits around here, which doesn't bode well for us in terms of trying to raise our stats, because that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is get these two to not have such shitey stats. It's not going great, but, it's a thing, so we'll get there. And I'm not strong enough to really take on any of the other larger factions at the moment. I do want to head over, and I might start heading towards the United Cities. But I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, I think I might head towards the United Cities for the sake of being able to get more humans faster. I could do that in Holy Nation territory, but I'm not going to have as many bandits to fight, whereas over there I can fight skimmers and ninjas and peasants, and I just have a lot more enemies that I can handle that will bolster my stats. And the presence of the shinobi thieves might help as well. Oof, really slow traveling here. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. That's what they call me. Surely. Alright. This is the fun part about Kenshi, is the slow-moving travel. It's only slow because I think those two have shiny. Yeah, all of these guys have shiny athletics compared to my main, our dear King Vashu, who is not quite ready yet. I mean, not quite ready yet to take on the mantle of King, but soon. More dwarves than King me. This, you'll notice that Blister Hill looks huge. It's because I had a mod at one point installed that made it much bigger. Added a shit ton of building and stuff, but once I approach it, it'll shrink right down. For some reason, the LOD of this never got turned off, even though I got rid of the mod. So you're gonna see it like just shrink. Hold on, and any second now. Pop, there it is. I used it in what is it? What video did I use it in? In my cannibals video, you'll see some of the footage from the Holy Nation when I was talking about the Holy Nation in my cannibals video. I was in Blister Hill in that modded city, but I ended up getting rid of it because it managed to somehow tank my performance too. Oy vey. Absolutely shredded it. Oh, okay, they're going to beat this guy up. So here's what we're going to do, because he's a Shek. So we're going to take advantage of that. And firstly, we're going to take your food. Because, you know, Vashu will absolutely get a Dwarven crown. That boy is going to be, he's going to be stacked, man. I'm going to give him some Mytal equipment. And he's going to be stacked. Hands down stacked. Yep, take that man's Dust Witch, because what's yours is mine, and what's mine is also mine. So this is what I was talking about. Like, people are worried. You know, if anybody's worried about me using the Ironsides, because they can be busted late game when they get their stats built up and they're stronger. They can be really fucking damaging, right? I'm not worried about the Ironsides being overpowered, because look at this nonsense. Each of these guys have stats in the 60s. Raiding this is going to be an absolute travesty. There's so many. I'm going to need such a force to do this. It's not just going to be dwarves. I'm going to have to hire mercenaries. I mean, I'm going to have to come in here with a full armada. This is not going to be a small task. So, anybody that may have been worried about the possibility of building a force that is too overpowered early on, don't you worry about it. Not going to be a problem. I'll be lucky to survive the night. My throat is so dry, it's almost talking. That would be a good idea. Kidnapping King and dropping. Honestly, just kidnap the Great White Gorilla, kidnap King, and kidnap. Has anybody ever kidnapped a Leviathan before? I don't think I've ever even tried. Can you do it? Can you pick up a Leviathan and run around with him? I feel like you could. Just drop a Leviathan in here. I feel like that would give him a hard time. Drop a Leviathan in here. You can? Yeah. So we'll just what we'll do is we'll get a couple Leviathans, get a couple guys with robotic legs, let them run real quick. Oh no. Oh no. Nope. I don't. Shit. Okay. Not familiar. All right. Go on. Yeah, we're gonna skip through this. What do I do? Pray to Okrin. Oh yes. Okay, let me go. There we go. Huh. I was worried they were about to attack me because I'm kind of heinous. Yeah, so the answer is to kidnap Leviathans, drop them in the middle of Holy Nation territory, and let that happen. Or we ride in on beak things. You can befriend the wildlife faction. That is true. Okay, so where am I at in terms of... So I need food. I need food desperately. I might have to go out and start hunting some wolves or garu or something to make a campfire and get some food going. Yeah. Alright, there should be some bone dogs or something around here. There's usually quite a handful of animal bases around here. A couple river raptors or something. Yep. Show them the gear. Good. Let's go. Alright, let's go find some animals. I need food desperately. There. What are you? Goats? Ooh, do I risk it with the goats, man? You ever fought goats? They're nasty. The goats are a real problem. We're going to make a real risky move and we're going to attack the goats, but you two are going to set the block because there's no fucking way you can handle that. Attack the goats. Goats are scary as hell in this game, man. Don't mess with the goats. They swarm you, but I don't have a choice. I need food. If I can take out a couple of them, that'll be fine. I just need food. Zagan's going to do the work here. Yeah, we're making progress. All right. Start shoving this in there. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. Make a campfire real fast. I'm gonna make 2. Campfire. 3 campfires. Get all that food cooking. And then I think last time I turned off the ditch food, so we're gonna turn that back on. Heal first. Yeah. I agree, man. Cornelius should have been the king of the tower. Hands down. Cornelius is a badass. You don't mess with Cornelius. We're just living on goat meat, basically, and that's what we're doing. We're going to live on goat meat for a while. Couple more. I'm going to start collecting this leather, too. We can use that for some easy money. Money. Zagan, pick that up. Yeah, we're just living on dried goat meat. That's 90% of our diet is dried goat meat. I did hear that there is a plastic surgeon mod that lets you like create a plastic surgeon at your base. I'm pretty sure I've used it in the past. I don't think I've used it anytime recently, but I'm pretty sure I've used it in the past. I don't think it necessarily lets you have a plastic surgeon like as a person like with a job, but it's a platform that you can step on and it'll open up the window like it's a tool. All right, Griffon. All right, so now we're gonna start pulling the leather here. We gotta pull as much goat leather as we can now that we've got a backpack full of goat meat. That should keep us fed. We killed all of them. We killed the men and the women and the children. It depends on the frame they have. So like this golem does not. because his frame has like no space, right? Zagan has a unique frame, and that frame comes with storage space. So it depends on the frame they have. You know, the shittier frames don't. Some frames have a little bit of storage space, but they don't stack. There's also some frames that have like a big backpack on where the items will stack and they have storage space. So it really depends on the frame that you put on them. Yes, it's good. It's good. Cool. That should be good for our food. That should at least keep us satiated for now. And we've also got some stuff to make some cash, so we can go back there and find a plastic surgeon for Griffin, as well as maybe get another recruit. So we're making progress here. Things are happening. Head back in there. Make Griffin a dwarf. We're gonna top him down at the knees. We're gonna cotton hell his ass. Gonna be throwing his feet to his knees. There we go. All right. Just sell all of that. All that. How much did I make? About 6,000. It's enough for 2 recruits. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I probably could have gotten more leather. I forgot that I hadn't filled Griffin's space. Whatever. I'll head back there in a minute. Plastic surgeon first. Give me a facelift. I'm gonna kill way more than 50 men. I can tell you that much. I'm gonna be killing way more than 50. All right, he's a taller dwarf. We're gonna make him 85. He's a tall boy, and we're gonna put him. He's a thick boy too. Griffin's gonna be a strong boy. Face, head size, change his head shape just a tiny bit. But other than that, I'm not gonna do anything to alter him. We're gonna leave him right as he is. Griffin he's a big guy. He's a tough dwarf, and I like him just enough to where I'm gonna give him a beard. There. That is the Holy Crusader armor. Fantastic mod. Overhauls the Holy Nation. Gives them these really cool Crusader armors. I feel like it's not lore friendly, but it should be, because like it looks right on par. I mean, it gives him that like real Christian Crusader look. It looks good. We're gonna give him a nice mighty beard. Something noteworthy. That's a good one. All right, cool. We'll go with that. Griffin's dwarf. Love it. Griffin the dwarf. All for it. Next thing, we're going to get another recruit. How are you doing? This boy. Built-in beard. He's made for dwarfs. 9s? Love it. Dwarf supremacy. 7,500 cats? Jesus Christ. He's got decent starting stats, but holy shit. All right. Go hunt more goats, I guess. I'm gonna go down here and finish picking up the corpses of those goats that I killed. Wherever they were. Where did I kill those goats at? Over here, right? Everybody find the pile of dead. He's making me pay extra for the beard. That's what it is. Anybody find a giant vat of dead goats right here somewhere? No, not really. The hitbox is generally the same. Just like I've had tall characters that have are super duper tall, swing these massive weapons, and they've skirted right over the heads of the enemies. They don't have a smaller hitbox. It's relatively the same. Their height and stuff doesn't really affect their hitbox. Otherwise, it would be advantageous to make all your characters wildly short. But it's, it is what it is. I wish they had a smaller hitbox. It would make more sense, because then it would be advantageous to make your characters wildly short. I think the goats all disappear. That sucks. I was going to come back here and take some more leather, but I think they're gone. River raptors. I'm going to blame them. That's true. They will get stuck in buildings. They'll get stuck in doorways, all that stuff. Who's that? Is that moving? Is that more goats? More goats. All right. We are the Dwarven Empire. Goatsbane. House Goatsbane. Come in. Come in. Farm goats. Do these belong to everybody? No? Good. Okay. Attack all. Griffin's fighting like a true dwarf now. He kind of moves like a dwarf, honestly. He's perfect for this. He's got that overhand, you know what I'm saying? Sagan, how you doing with food? All right, so he's still stacked with food. So we're not here on a meat run. We're here on a leather run. Just gather up all the leather I can. And then we'll go looking for more goats. Maximize our goat output. Cool. All right. This is a rather lucrative way of making money that I honestly don't think I've thought of doing before, like hunting goats. Goats scare the shit out of me usually, so I'm shocked we're doing so well against them. Goats in this game usually scare the crap out of me. They're just busted, man. They swarm you. They hurt. They hurt real bad. But we're having good luck. Goats can't do nothing against Dwarven supremacy. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm really shocked at how early I'm destroying these goat herds. Like we're doing pretty well. I'm impressed considering we have like the only ones that can really do damage right now are Zagan and Vashu. And typically I feel like they get wrecked by goats. They get charged, they get swarmed early. So I'm not complaining, you know, we're doing good, but definitely a shock. Proof that our mission is righteous. Alright, my dude. Come here. 7,500 cats. Vashu, our main guy with the tricorn hat. We're going to put you at 80, 81. We're 82. We're going to make you a little shorter, and we're going to make you nice and wide. Got to give him that chunky dwarf look. Put him at a 1.8. Gotta give him that chongy look, you know? Perfect. Perfect. I believe you. At this point I'm pretty I've come to the conclusion that every time I gotta clear my throat. Alright, so he's got, it's not good stats, but he's not terrible. He's good. He's good. It's good. It'll do. And then I still got 3,000. Depending on, there's another bar over here. There might be another recruit in here. If I can get one more, that would be cool. Start building up an entourage. I do love an entourage, although this bar is strikingly empty. No one wants to be here. Fuck that bar in particular. Let's try this one. We got anybody good? Set. She's probably gonna charge me 6,000. Watch. She's got stats that are above like negative numbers. I'm guessing 6,000. Boom, 6,000. Knew it. Bows, I'm pretty sure, do have to have physical contact. Like the arrows, they have to do physical contact. Because you can instruct your units to basically strafe away from arrows. I've done it before. All right, well, I would say this trip to the Holy Nation was a success. We got 2 recruits in the forms of Griffin and Nines. I'd say that was a success. And we're going to head back down south and start training on some Dustbane. Oh, yeah, understand. Show my gear. Start training on some Dust Bandits. I want to take the Dust King out, bring him up to the Holy Nation, get that taken care of. Once I get a couple more dwarves, maybe 2 more dwarves, and then I start getting their stats up there, the plan is to then start building an outpost. But right now, it's still too early. If I tried to build one right now, I'd get raided by the friggin' breadweaves. I might not build a base until I deal with the breadweaves. I might deal with them first. The breadweaves are the Black Dragon Ninja, if anybody was unclear on that. They are the breadweaboos. They are my least favorite faction in the game. Hands down, least favorite. Pacifist run? Yes and no. I did a entrepreneurial run one time where my character made food. He was a farmer. He bought locations in cities, and he would set up a shop, and he would make food, and people would come in and buy the food. So it wasn't so much a pacifist run because I would have to fight, but fighting was not the goal. The goal was to set up a successful infrastructure for a food operation, and I made several successful restaurantes throughout the United Cities and the Holy Nation, and it worked out pretty well. I think I saw another YouTuber do something pretty similar. They made a what is it? They called it a McFood cubes. They opened McFood cubes everywhere, and they made like 1 million cats. That was the goal, was to make 1 million cats in a certain amount of time. They opened McFood cubes everywhere, and they just kept making food cubes. Because the shopping mechanic in this game, when you set up a shop counter, pretty much the only things that you're ever really going to sell at the shop counters consistently, because every so often you'll get a character that'll come in and they'll buy like weapons or armor or something like that, but consistently, all characters will try to buy food and they'll try to buy medicine first. If you want to build a successful shop, sell food or medicine. Every time. They will drain their bank account, but it also depends on the local economy, right? So some factions, some areas will do worse than others. Some of the United States cities will not do very well. Holy Nation cities actually do pretty nice. It really depends, but yeah, food. You want to build a successful shop, food and medicine are the 2 that are going to do it. If you can get the operation set up where you're producing food at a good quantity, and you can sustain it, it's it's a really lucrative way to make money in Kenshi, that's for sure. And it's basically passive income, right? If you load up with hundreds upon hundreds of stacks of food in a shop counter, you can just walk away and watch your cats stack up while you're adventuring. I mean, it's lucrative and passive. Who's fighting here? See, this we're gonna watch this. This is hungry bandits getting wrecked by goats. Will they win? Probably. Will they all walk away from the Battle of the Goats? Probably not. Eventually they're going to come after me. I think they're already doing it. Yeah, alright, now we'll get involved. They were trying to do exactly what we've been doing, but they suck at it, so. First step before I fully take on the Holy Nation too, I mean not the Holy Nation, the Shek Kingdom, is going to be to take out the sub-factions. I gotta deal with the Berserkers. I dealt with Torah the Furious already. I've got to deal with Krull's Chosen for sure, because if you kill or just kill Asada before Flying Bull is removed, then he will take over as the leader, and then if he's gone, then I'll only have to contend with Mukai the Mountain afterwards, and I'll deal with him easy peasy. You two are still on block because even though you have 20 block stats, your attack skills suck. I'm going to take Truth off of block. She needs to start working on her attack stat. Just hit him while he's down, literally. My god. Alright, well, I guess there's a couple of goat corpses around here, right? Maybe? Yeah, alright. I guess we're raiding some more goats. How are we doing for food? Check Zagan's inventory. Yeah, we're still solid. Yeah, we're looking good. These aren't Shek, so I can actually, like, hang on to food for longer than a couple of minutes. The real upside to doing a Greenlander only playthrough is, or a human only playthrough, is that you don't exhaust your full capacity for food super early on, because holy shit, man, every Shek playthrough I've ever done, I blow through food so quick, especially as your army builds. Like, once you get up to 40, 50 people, keeping them fed is so difficult. And maybe not even keeping them fed, like, while you're at your base, keeping them fed while you're traveling. Like, you go to do, like, any kind of war mission. I had a base of Shek. I had 50 Shek, right? We were based right... Where was it? We were based right here. And in the journey, I would pack so much food. And between coming from here to here, this distance, okay? It's not that far. From this line to here. It's not that far in the grand scheme of things. I'd be out of food before I got there. They just eat so fucking much. They eat so much. It's kind of a pain. Yeah, honestly, the best way to deal with food in the long run, to be honest with you, is to raid trade caravans with their pack bulls, because they usually carry like prepared meals, like little food packages that give you 125 nutrition back, and just stack up on those, man. Get like 60 of those by raiding those caravans. Stacks and stacks of rations, man. Stacks. Oh man. So well, while I got the chat here, I got a good couple of people in here. Does anybody have anything they would want me to do a lore video about in the future? I'm kind of trying to figure out my next like major topic for lore content, because I've covered a lot of the big ones. I could do a deep dive on the UC, which I'm going to do eventually, but that's going to be a long project in itself. I'm trying to consider a couple of smaller lore videos that I could drop out, and I'd like some real-time opinions if anybody's got any. Anything I could feed on. Igor, no, I don't have anything like set on Igor, or anything beyond speculation. Like, there's not really a concrete reason that I could think of why he does the things he does. I know that even the UC is terrified of him. Like, I think the only person he listens to sometimes is Tengu, but even then he doesn't. Like, Igor's literally there just for the fighting. He's there for the combat. He wants to murder, he wants to maim, he wants to kill, and that's about it, I don't know why he left the Southern Hive, though. That's always a good question. I mean, he's clearly literate. Like, he can talk. Even though he primarily, like, screams and yells a lot, he can talk. He's literate. I don't have anything concrete on Igor. Maybe I'll look into Igor more. Maybe I'll see if I can put together a theory on Igor. There's nothing concrete on him that I know of, but I definitely think maybe I can put together an idea. I've been trying to do more character dives recently anyway. That's why I put up my video on Agnew and Beep, and the other one on Agnew and the Voodoo Brothers. I think exploring some of the characters in Kenshi is going to be fun. I'm probably going to make a video on Ruka as well. I think breaking down some of the individual characters could be an interesting idea. Yeah, Igor just does what Igor does, man. He's not even a member. I like the idea that Igor is not even a member of the military or the United States military. He literally just showed up, and he's just in charge now. He walked in and was like, I am the captain now. He pulled an I am the captain now. Yeah, maybe I'll do a breakdown of the companions. I'll talk about some of do individual videos on some of the companions. Stuff on like Ruka. I think Rain the Giant might be a good one to investigate. We'll do Crumble John. Everybody loves Crumble John. I'll find something about Infinite Wing Wang. Do love me some Infinite Wing Wang. Tech hunters. Why is that? I think those used to be the tech hunters that we hired. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that my faction videos are, have made any kind of an impact, man. I really appreciate hearing that. I really tried to do like a deep dive on the factions because I feel like Kenshi, even though like there's a lot of content on Kenshi lore, right, and there's a lot of like Reddit posts and forum posts and discussions, a lot of it's not compiled into one place, and it's not. I feel like a lot of it's not broken down in such a way that is cohesive and tells like a good functional story and really breaks down why things are the way they are. Like a lot of the information on the Hivers, isn't really well known, like how they make their buildings, man. They make their buildings through vomiting. That's disgusting and awesome at the same time. And nobody really talks about it because nobody really realizes it, or it's kind of like a throwaway line, There's a lot of nuance to Kenshi lore that I don't think gets explored that often. And so I'm glad that my videos have been able to kind of change perspective on stuff and kind of give people a bit more of an idea of the way Kenshi operates and the lore behind it and stuff. I appreciate everybody who checks out my stuff. Kang, I don't think I've ever actually looked at Kang in terms of like his lore and stuff. I'm sure he's got something. He's got to have something. But we will find out. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do now in the immediate. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna armor up Griffin, and then I think we're gonna start heading and trying to deal with some of the minor factions in the Shek Kingdom. So we're gonna start dealing with like the Krall's Chosen and stuff like that, and work our way from there. And the Dust Bandits. I don't think we're ready for an assault on the Dust King. Well, we might be ready for an assault on the Dust King's tower. We're still kind of squished, but let's outfit Nines and then go from there. How about that? That's a better idea. Hiver Queens, they're androids. They're androids, not the right way. They're cyborgs. They are mechanically augmented. And I recently put out a short talking about Hiver, the reproduction cycle of the Hivers, because someone asked, and I didn't expect to have to do that day, but I did. Yeah, so the Hiver Queens are they have equipped incubators that are attached to their body, right? So they are mechanically augmented with incubators, and the incubators are, because the Hivers by default are not capable, they do not have an actual reproductive system. Instead, what they do is the queen acts as the template, like the genetic template to make them stable, right? So she has the genetic template for all different kinds of Hivers. She can make soldiers, she can make drones, she can make the princes. So think of the Hiver Queen as like a codex, and that codex gives the blueprint for making a new Hiver. And then the Hivers themselves, probably the princes, just because I don't imagine that every Hiver would be able to participate in this, but the Hivers are able to take in organic material and they're able to regurgitate it. That's actually what their buildings are made out of. It's made out of sticks and stuff like that, and vomit. So we know that they can take in organic material and they can break it down. And it is, you have the Hiver Queen that acts as the codex for all Hiver life, but without a reproductive system, there's got to be a way for her to make new Hivers, and that will require new biomass. You can't create something out of nothing. You have to have something that gives them like new biomass, right? So because Hivers don't have reproductive systems, it's not like the male Hivers are going out and doing the deed with the queen. Instead, what they do is they vomit the Hiver, what I think they do is they vomit bioorganic material into the incubator, or somehow give it to the queen, or something, or even the queen eats the bioorganic material, something of that way, and she then uses that bioorganic material to create a new Hiver in the incubator with herself as the codex, the template for what she's making. And the evidence behind this actually can be tied to a couple different things. Their diet is a big one, right? So like the Western hive primarily lives on wheat straw. They grow wheat straw and they live on plants. And if you notice, the Western hive is yellow, right? And they have a much more timid temperament because they're based on plant life. Not based on, but like they get the organic material from plant life. Then you look at the Southern hive, and they get their material from basically mashed up bloody pulp that King makes for them, right? So King takes in this material, blood for King. They feed you to King, and he mashes you up into a puree, and that puree gets fed to the queen or whatever they have to do to give that material to the queen. And then, so they get this like bloody pulp, and then the hivers come out purple and like with a purplish reddish hue, because the organic material that was used as the building blocks and put into that template change the color and the temperament of the hiver. So the Southern hive are more aggressive because they come from blood, whereas the Western hive their material comes from wheat straw, and so they have a more timid temperament and they're yellow. My theory with the Fogmen is it could be a parasite, right? The most likely answer is a parasite. But theoretically, think about how deranged they are, right? They are devolved. It's almost like they're genetically damaged. And so what if the incubator was still active, but the queen had a parasite, or the queen was dead? And so the princes are eating people, and then they're using it on a genetically damaged queen, or a queen that's been infected, or a queen that her codex is not functional anymore, or she's dead and they're just using the incubator, right? And the incubator is pumping out new hivers, but without that stable codex, they're fucking insane. And that would explain why the Fogmen are able to reproduce at such rapid numbers, because they don't have the queen. They're just eating people and then regurgitating that material into the incubator to make more Fogmen. They're infinite because they're just reproducing infinitely, right? It's a ritualistic thing. They're not eating for the sake of sustenance. They're eating for the sake of just replenishing their numbers en masse. And so they're genetically damaged. That's the theory that I kind of outlaid in my Origins of the Hiver video. It's gross, man. I hope that we learn more about the origins that have been decided upon by Lo-Fi in Kenshi 2, for sure. Because, let me tell you, I'm just waiting for daytime right now to... Yeah, I mean, like, that's the other thing. Like, it's the equivalent of... If they're genetically damaged, think of it almost the same as my theory on the cannibals, where it's the Hiver equivalent to inbreeding, right? Like, the cannibals are inbred for the most part. A lot of them are inbred, and they've been degenerated from some kind of localized toxin or heavy metal poisonings, which I think is the most likely answer, is the heavy metal poisonings from the floodlands poisoned the ground and created basically tainted crops. But the Fogmen are the Hiver equivalent to inbred individuals who are genetically damaged, because that's what inbreeding does. It damages your genes. And so they're inbred, and they've created this like weird ritualistic process in which the princes will go through and devour these people while the brain dead drones pray to them to do it, and then these princes will take that material, they'll bring it back to the incubator, they'll pump out more hivers, right, that are genetically damaged, and the cycle just continues on and on. So this process that they used to do is part of just like their normal life cycle, has now become fanaticized to these brain dead hivers that are genetically damaged. As they devolve and become stupider and more inbred and damaged genetically, it devolved into almost like a religious fanaticism instead of a reproductive cycle, because they just are that damaged. Super messed up, man. Kenshi lore's great. It's great. Love it very much. Big fan, big fan. If you guys didn't know. Get you outfitted with some good stuff. What? Yeah, we'll give you some shoddy gear for now. I don't have the money to give you any great stuff. Put you in the proper outfit, right? You're gonna roll with our crew. You got to have the proper outfit. That means a bucket helmet. That means, yeah. I mean, that's what it is. The Fogmen just went full derp. They're crazy. That's all it is. They're nuts, and they're nuts from what is the equivalent of generations of inbreeding, but not quite inbreeding. It's the Hiver equivalent because again, they don't have any actual reproductive function, but. And that's why the fact that the Hiver queens need that incubator to reproduce is one of the many reasons why I think the Hivers are genetically modified humans, because like nature doesn't make you entirely reliant on an incubator. That's lunacy, like it doesn't make you entirely reliant on being mechanically augmented. I doubt they evolved and then like made themselves augmented and then went from there. I doubt that. That would be ludicrous. I think it's far more likely that they were manufactured. And again, I said it earlier, but that kind of falls in line with the rest of Kenshi lore. All the races are human in origin. The Shek used to be human. The humans obviously are human. The skeletons were made by humans. The Shek, while they used to be human, they were made by skeletons who were made by humans. Everything ties back to humanity. Humans did all of this. Everything on Kenshi was human. And if you go by the cut content, it's even worse because beak things could fucking talk. It's very likely that the original intention was that humans were... I mean, a lot of the animals on Kenshi were fucking human ones too. Like the beak things and the skin spiders, which I think the skin spiders used to be human. I think the reason why Hivers have a sexual attraction to things like ladies... Firstly, I think that beep is a unique circumstance because I don't think... correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I have experienced any other dialogue where another Hiver expresses interest in a woman. I may be wrong on that. If I am, let me know and I'll look into it. But with that being said, when the Hivers get cut off from the pheromone link, they develop consciousness. And it is part of every race's desire to reproduce, right? But the Hivers, by default, are part of a collective hive mind. They don't have actual consciousness. They don't have self-thought. They live in a collective hive mind. So, when you take them out of that hive mind, they develop that consciousness and they become individuals. And now they want to reproduce. And obviously, like every species wants to do that. And it could dive back to their original roots as human, where obviously, like when they were human, they would reproduce the way that humans do. And now they've been genetically altered down the line through experimentation, and their whole existence is meant to be in this collective hive mind. Literally, the Hivers are basically the Geth. That's the perfect way to look at it. Their existence is supposed to be in this hive mind, but when you take them out of it, they start to revert back to that human need. They start to become more human because they have been taken out of the artificial environment that they've been, modified to be part of. So, if there is an example of another Hiver that experienced or displays some kind of innate attraction to woman, do feel free to let me know, but I am unaware of it. I like the bucket helms, but I do think they might be handicapping me, which sucks. I know, man. It's crazy. The Hivers are a really fascinating topic. That's why literally the origins of the Hiver video is my most watched video on my channel. It's got like 90,000 views because it's something that everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know. What are the Hivers? I feel pretty confident that I have the answer, that I've got it right. There's a lot of evidence to back it up. I feel really confident on it. I don't think they're native. I don't think that the Hivers are native. Their timing that they showed up, it makes... They didn't show up until the end of the Second Empire. Yeah, they that is part of the prisoner recruit mod. I'm actually using it here too. Eventually, I'll start recruiting people and forcibly converting them to dwarves as a way to bolster my numbers. We won't know until Kenshi 2 for certain, but everyone wants to know, and I feel pretty confident. The Hivers didn't show up till the end of the Second Empire. I'm going to sell the Bucket Helms. They're dropping my stats too much, unfortunately, which sucks because they look good, but right now I can't afford it. Maybe later I'll prop them back on, but right now I can't do it. They didn't show up until the end of the Second Empire, and that timing is really really convenient. Like this race that is suddenly perfectly equipped to deal. They're immune to acid. Okay, so like let me walk you through exactly what was going on in the Second Empire when the Hivers showed up, when the Empire collapsed. Right, when the Empire collapsed, just before that, the final nail in the coffin, it wasn't the enthralling. Fun fact, it wasn't the enthralling. The enthralling was like right at the end, but it wasn't the end. The famine was what really did it. When Catelyn was enthralling his own soldiers, then the famine happened. Like, that was it. And the area that was the breadbasket of the Second Empire was the grid. The grid was basically set up like an Aztec floating farm. Actually, I'll scroll right down and show you. The grid was set up like the Aztec floating farms of old. And if you want to see what they look like, they looked pretty much like this. This whole area, all of these in-between crevices, was flooded. It was all part of the water that had overtaken in the swamp, right? So this whole area was flooded, and they had these floating islands. And this area acted as giant mass floating farms for the Second Empire. Now, this area right here, the crater, obviously you'll notice that it is a giant crater. And it breaks into the grid. So, the grid was destroyed by whatever created this crater. Now, in this crater, you'll find a lot of green stone. Okay? And that green stone is really important because it tells us exactly what happened. Something that was going on, in the Second Empire, in this area, was some kind of nuclear research. We don't know what it was, but we know that there was a nuclear device of some kind in this area. Because this green stone is very reminiscent to the real-world stone known as titronite. And titronite only occurs in nature. I mean, it doesn't occur in nature. It only occurs artificially at the site of a nuclear explosion. You know that a nuclear explosion happened because titronite forms. That's one of the leading theories about the possibility of that there was once a civilization on Mars, is they found evidence of possible titronite on Mars. And titronite is only formed from a nuclear explosion. So this whole area is littered with titronite. So now we have two things that occurred. Their breadbasket, where all of their food was grown, was blown up and destroyed, so they lost their food, and the whole area is now radioactive. So Catelyn has already proven that he's more than willing to artificially alter his citizens to achieve the goals that he wants. He did so with the Shek. He took human beings, he manipulated their genes with gene therapy, and created the Enforcers as a way to spy on possible insurrectionists, right? So we know that he has the potential to do it, and we know that he has the thought process to do it, and we know that he has the means to do it. So why would he not do it again, right? So he would create a race of humans that require less food and are resistant to the elements of Kenshi that were proving to be problematic. So he could potentially rebuild the grid. Now the Hivers they have the lowest hunger reduction rate in the game. They are incredibly subservient, which also builds well because at the same time this was happening, Catelyn was becoming increasingly paranoid about people leaving his empire, right? He was terrified after the insurrection that happened and the mass exodus of the Ochre Knights. So he created a group of people that were less prone to famine, that were far more obedient. They could be controlled very easily via a pheromone link, and they also were resistant to acid and very likely radiation. And then at the same time that this famine was happening, the Hivers suddenly show up. I think the Hivers were Catlan's last attempt to try and like fix things, and it just, the empire fell apart afterwards, and no one really knew what happened and like where the Hivers came from. They just showed up, and then the queens just started doing their thing. They did what they were programmed to do. They reproduced, they created the Hivers, and then they ended up developing cultures depending on where they were at, and they've evolved over the last 1,000 years. As for whether or not Catlan built skeletons, no, he didn't. The technology for building skeletons was lost at the end of the First Empire. We know that for certain. I know that for certain. And not only do I know that for certain, but also the topography of the land explains that as well. And I'll show you that as well. I went through and I posted this image on my my cannibal origins of the cannibal video. I'm kind of going off the gameplay for a second, but I'm going on a tangent, so bear with me. On the origins of my cannibal video, I'll get to the hive mind. Give me a second. I'll get to that. I broke down what areas used to be flooded during the Second Empire. Now, Kenshi during the First Empire looked very reminiscent to the way it does now. I talked about this a few times. It looked very reminiscent to the way it does now. The First Empire falls. Age of Chaos happens. What is the Age of Chaos? Why was civilization so difficult to form after the Age of Chaos at the end of the fall of the First Empire? And it lasted for a really long time. Why was it so chaotic? It was chaotic because it was an active nuclear winter as a result of the extinction event that happened at the end of the First Empire, right? The nuclear winter happened from the skeletons trying to eradicate humanity. Now, nuclear winter happens. Ice starts to form all across this place. Temperatures on the planet drop. Eventually, the Age of Chaos ends, and the weather starts to warm. Atmosphere returns to what it was previously, and the area becomes habitable again. As the weather warms, the ice that was formed in the Age of Chaos melts. And these areas, the swamp, a lot of these little fissures, these natural topographies that are formed from very clearly weather erosion, right? This lake that ran all the way from this river, that ran all the way from the swamp, all the way up through Oakrin's Valley, this naturally fertile area that you would only get from an area that was submerged underwater for a long period of time, flows all the way up into the floodlands, okay? So the floodlands during the First Empire was where all the skeletons were built. We know that because when you walk in there, they tell you, this is where I was born. This is where skeletons were made. During the Second Empire, this whole area was completely flooded. It was drowned. And that actually is what caused the cannibals up here, which were members of the Holy Nation. They were people that lived up there. They were people, not members of the Holy Nation, but they were people who practiced the Oakrinite religion, or the burgeoning Oakrinite religion. It was still a cult at the time. The crops up here became tainted by the heavy metal poisoning and the chemicals that were drowned in this water here. It feeds upward into this area, creates that weird bluish landscape. The ground is tainted. It's also incredibly fertile. It's super fertile land, but it's tainted with heavy metals. It's tainted with chemicals that were runoff from whatever process made the skeletons here in the floodlands, right? And then that drove them insane. So Catlan could not have made new skeletons because the only area that skeleton production ever happened was completely underwater. That technology was lost. In fact, a lot of people think that the capital of the First Empire had to have been somewhere else. It was in the Ashlands. It's in the same place the capital of the Second Empire was. All those megalithic structures that you see in here, that is not Second Empire buildings. Those are First Empire buildings. The ruins of the First Empire are always way more technologically advanced and larger than what you see in the ruins of the Second Empire. And we don't see any of the buildings in here, like in the area of the Ashlands, anywhere else. You would think that Catlan, who primarily uses those ash domes, if those were Second Empire buildings, you'd see them elsewhere, but you don't. You only see them in this region here, and that's because Catlan built his empire on the ruins of the first. He literally cannibalized the old tech from the first empire, salvaged what he could, and built his empire while being technologically less advanced than the first. He built it and based it on the technology that he salvaged from the first. So Catalan couldn't have made skeletons because the technology was gone. They destroyed it. It's gone. As to whether or not the skeletons have a hive mind, they did. They don't anymore, but they did. They didn't all forget what happened. That's a myth. That is a lie. The skeleton resets are very, very real, but whether they forgot what happened, that's a lie. They all collectively decided sometime between the first and the end of the Second Empire that they wanted to hide the truth of the fall of the First Empire for fear of retribution, for fear of for whatever reason. We don't really know the reason. It could be guilt, could be fear of retribution, could be a lot of things, but they collectively decided to hide it. Skeleton resets are real. I covered that extensively in my Sadness of the Skeletons video. There is far too much evidence to suggest that the reset process is not real. They just added in the idea that it removes their memories to add to the mass cover-up. But the skeleton resets are very real. And I mean, if you want, I can dive into that real fast too. We know that they used to be part of a hive mind because there's some journal entries. We don't know if this is the only continent. We don't know. Maybe, but we don't know. There's some journal entries from the First Empire that you can find in some ruins that suggest that the skeletons were meeting up secretly when they were finally plotting this overthrow. And they would all just stand there as if they were exchanging data. No words would be said, but they were exchanging data. And so it's implied that they used to be part of a mainframe, but they're not anymore. And that may be one of the many reasons that they're so goddamn susceptible to insanity now if they don't do that reset process, because they're no longer connected to the mainframe that might have automatically pulled that bloated data out from them, right? During the time of the Empire, they might have been able to, and this is me riffing, and I didn't think about this until just now. During the time of the First Empire, they may not have had to reset. The mainframe may have automatically pulled that bloated content out of them, and all those that buildup of data out of them to prevent them from breaking. Right? It may have been done automatically. The buildup of data and the CPU bloat that causes them to go insane, that I covered in my Sadness of the Skeletons video, that could be a byproduct of them inadvertently disconnecting themselves from the mainframe that was keeping them from bloating. And that's I literally just thought of that based on your comment. So that's a really interesting idea, that the process of them going insane from CPU bloat could be a byproduct of them disconnecting themselves from the mainframe that may have been keeping them sane as a workforce. Yeah, wow. I would say I probably am going to call it here in about 8 minutes. 12:30 EST is probably when I'm going to go. I'm just I got to work in the morning, but I want to keep the conversation rolling for just a little bit longer. Yeah, the death of the behemoths in obedience was the last straw. That was what really signified it to them. They viewed it as a massive betrayal. Because I don't know if the First Empire really considered how sentient the skeletons were. They gave them AI components, but they also, we don't know what their process for keeping them under wraps was, for keeping them stable was. We don't know what any of that stuff was. So they may not have realized how sentient they were, but basically, when obedience happened, it happened as a result of the behemoths having beat the kaiju-like entities that were probably the actual natives to Kenshi. They beat them, and then the only remaining real threat to the Empire is these giant skeletons that were created to fight off these impossibly large enemies, right? So what did they do? They melted them down. They don't need them anymore. They don't have any need for them. This is a technologically advanced super race. It's probably no big deal for them to create sentient AI life and then melt it down. There's no ethical implications for them. So they marched them all up to obedience in what is now the Foglands, right up in here. and they poured in thousands upon thousands of gallons of molten metal, and it solidified and locked them all in there and melted them down. And the skeletons viewed that as a massive betrayal because the behemoths were the most loyal. You know, they were incredibly loyal. They walked up there entirely unresisting into obedience, and as far as we know, it may have been knowingly or unknowingly were killed, but either way, the implication is the same. They were so loyal, they walked to their deaths, every one of them, except for Stobe, for whatever reason. And that was the last straw for them. You know, they rebelled after that, and things went awry after that. So that's why they snapped. And it's even worse when you consider the size of the behemoths. You know, I posted a short about this the other day, but Stobe, yeah, that's kind of why Stobe's Gamble's named Stobe's Gamble, I imagine, is because he was quite literally gambling on saving humanity. Like, is it worth it? Is it a good idea to save them? They killed all of my kind, all of my behemoth brothers and sisters. I'm going to bet on humanity, though, right? I'm going to bet that even though they did this horrible thing, they shouldn't be wiped out. And you know, that's kind of why that's there. And then Stobe's Garden is obviously the place that he is was laid to rest after he died, stopping them from nuking the capital and finishing off the First Empire. But I made a short about this the other day. Obedience. When you consider I want you to consider the size of the behemoths, right? So I don't know if they yelled. I don't know. They don't feel pain. You know, the same, like skeletons don't feel pain. You throw them in a peeler, they don't do anything. But I don't imagine they were quiet when they went up there. I don't imagine that when you were dumping molten metal on them, they were just sitting there taking it, you know? I think it's far more likely that the reason why the death of the behemoths, aside from the obvious moral betrayal, why it was so impactful on the behemoths as a species, on the skeletons as a species and as a group of individuals, was because these massive beings that were loyal were then brought into this pit, and given their size, they were probably so loud. If they were screaming, I have no doubt the entirety of Kenshi heard it. It was probably one of the most traumatic things to ever happen on this continent. It was probably horrible. Miles and miles, they could hear them screaming and roaring as they were melted down. It was probably absolutely horrific. And that's why the skeletons did what they did. And then they realized at a certain point, after Stobe sacrificed himself, that even though the humans of the First Empire had committed this heinous crime, the last behemoth forgave them, and it's kind of a Jesus allegory when you think about it. It's kind of metaphorical there. You know, it's ironic that Stobe would go on to later form the Holy to be the foundation of the Holy Nation, which is based largely in medieval Christianity. Stobe would ultimately choose to sacrifice himself to save the very people that doomed him and killed all of his race, all for the sake of trying to prevent their destruction. I mean, he sacrificed himself in spite of their sins. You know, Stobe's kind of robot Jesus. I'm gonna be honest with you, he's kind of robot Jeebus. You're right. So, really cool stuff. But I think this is probably a good spot to call it. I'm poked, man. My eyes are getting awfully heavy there, lads. They're getting awfully heavy. So I appreciate everybody who attended this stream. It's probably going to be a couple more days before I do another one. Just because I've got other things going on this week. It's 4th of July week. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of work stuff. But I appreciate everybody coming out and sitting with me and chatting with me for the last 3.5 hours. We made a lot more progress than we did last night. Now that I've got the frame issue figured out. I mean, we're on day 16. Really cool. When we started, we were on day 5, so we went 11 days. I'd call that a win. Again, thank you for everybody for coming out. James, I appreciate your membership. As always, my guy, your support is duly noted. If anybody has any ideas for future videos, go ahead and join the channel. Go ahead and join the stream. I'm always down to hear more. But per usual, use your powers for good instead of evil. Make a difference in someone's life. Praise Robot Jeebus.